Okay.
Hello, and welcome to the 125th episode of the Destiny Community Podcast. This week, brought to you by Pope getting a tattoo on his ass for the kids.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey.
Oh, well done, sir.
Round of applause. Round of applause, guys.
You're up on
you.
Twitter, and
Excellent.
everybody was so proud of you for following through on what you said you would do. Like a man.
I'm a man.
They would have
I'm a
been
man.
way more proud if they saw the photo than we saw.
That's true.
We got-
They would have thick boy. Can we get a hashtag thick boy pope?
Yeah.
I honestly thought that was a boob. Like,
Yeah.
it was,
I have,
so round.
I have very round
He has a round.
buttocks.
You have a Hank Hill butt where it's
Hank Hill booty.
It is very defined.
Mhm.
Also,
Yeah.
I didn't think that it was going to be as big. The tattoo.
No, it was
The tattoo.
it was
sorry.
large.
Yeah.
The tattoo, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it's just surprising.
It's-
that
it is
tattoo.
pretty
I was
sizable.
expecting like, a quarter, maybe smaller of the size or something. No. Loud and
It's,
proud. Loud
2
and proud.
inches, a couple inches. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Also,
You know,
it's gonna be a Patreon reward, the top tier Patreon. See post butt.
I
Still
did
up for
not agree
debate
to
with his
that.
wife, but
Yeah.
I mean,
not
anyone
agree to
can be
that.
bought with enough money.
Right. But we are going to be providing, those temporary tattoos for people to have the actual ink distinct tattoo
Temp
for
tats.
themselves.
There you go.
Yeah, temp tats for sure.
So your
And,
butt can look just like Pope Bear's.
If you want, or you can put my butt
Or
on
it
your
can
face.
look just like mine, and you cannot get a tattoo.
Mm,
Well,
that's less appealing.
Yeah.
For those that want that option.
Apparently you do.
I have a feeling that the internet has a way of convincing you that the best course of action will be to get that tattoo.
Remember how I said I was going to get it after my Japan trip?
Yeah.
Right.
We could get it in
And-
Japan.
And
Yes.
and
You get it
Some,
like a
like-
traditional.
I'm not
like-
sure why people think
Go
that
to
you
the-
getting your
where all the
tattoo is going to
Yakuza
speed
get
up the
their
space-time
tattoos?
continuum to suddenly make a
like,
Japan
with like
trip
a bamboo, and like hammer,
Hmm.
Yes.
That'd be great.
I
Yes.
feel like OG way of tattooing is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. We wanted
It hurts.
But-
It's pretty cool.
to take care of him over there and have that happen.
If I can find the tattoo place in Japan,
Well,
might be a little hard.
let's jump right into it. I wanted to thank our guests tonight. We have OneActual on the podcast. Thank you very much for coming on.
What up? Thank you for having me.
Jay, do you have any tattoos?
So,
Oh, there it is.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Have you considered a tattoo on the left cheek of your rump by any chance?
No.
No?
I have not. But yo, more power to y'all, man.
Does Pope
Not a one actual thing, man. Can't do it.
Does-
Can't do it. My girl will be slapping it every time I got out of the shower, man. I can't do it. Can't do it.
Oh, that's a good question.
Now,
Pope, actually,
I
has
respect that.
your ass slap ratio gone up since you've got that tattoo? Or is it
That
still,
is a good
this is actually
is it still
this
too
is,
tender
This
right
is
now?
actually a really important. This is a really important point, and something that may tip the scales is to Patrick getting it done sooner, because it has increased the level of slappage.
Okay.
And
In
from
a
what I
long-distance
remember,
relationship,
I knew
that's
it.
not going to really help me that much in my current situation.
But imagine when it's not
I-
long distance anymore. The slappage
yeah,
greatly increased from the tattoo.
Yeah.
You see that on there, and you're like, I just gotta slap it.
Yeah.
I can't help
it's
myself.
like a bullseye, Patrick.
Mhm.
It's like a bullseye.
You do like being
But a
pink,
What?
so you like being pink. So I think this works out.
So I wanted to, obviously we know that Patrick. We're just giving Patrick a hard time. He has he's got a plan. He's gonna get his tat done in 3 months, because the Japanese don't allow you into the country apparently with a tattoo on you.
Apparently they
I
shun
didn't
you.
know that.
Bathhouses. But sure.
Apparently,
Neither do the
that's-
Japanese.
They didn't know that either. but we're just taking Patrick's word on this, so we're not
Yeah.
going to talk about it anymore.
It's a really
Definitely.
obscure part of Brexit, apparently.
Somehow it
Oh,
involves Japan. But yeah, I wanted to get into talking to OneActual, but talk to Jay about his experience, and because it really reminds me of like this this awesome way that you kind of got into content creation, right? And So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, man? Like how did you start playing games? And
I want to hear about the visor. What is up with the visor?
Man, all right, listen. I'm gonna give you the same treatment I get everybody that has the visor. Look,
Huh?
all right.
it's up to you. You create the lore for this visor. I have a dream that one day, when there's like, thousands of people inside of my chat, when somebody comes in and asks, hey, what's that thing on your face, man? What are you rocking on your face for? Everybody has their own specific answer. So it's up to you. I can't tell you.
I'm gonna go with
brother.
you have Cyclops eyes, like eyes like
Ooh,
Cyclops.
he's got like a third eye. Oh no, he
No.
just got one eye.
No.
in the
He's
middle.
got like eyes like Cyclops from the X-Men. So in order to not ruin all of his equipment, he has to wear the visor so he doesn't destroy his monitors. You know.
So he's saving all our lives by putting the visor on.
Exactly. That's my lore. All right. Yes.
I like it.
Good
I like
one.
it.
I think he's just a germaphobe and he doesn't want like people spit and sneezes and stuff to get into his eyeballs. So you know how like you go to an all night buffet
Pretty
and there's
big
that
thing to
sneeze
worry
shield?
about when you're streaming on Twitch.
You know, there's that sneeze shield.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's his
Mhm.
personal version of that. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Versatile, man. You can use it for anything.
Yeah. He's just always protected. He's a really safe guy.
Always.
I think he just plays a lot of poker and got lazy. The thing kind of started drooping down, but it was already a thing, so he just kept it.
There you go. Poker face. Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
All right answers.
Nice.
I'm gonna go with like you went to the optometrist and they just gave you the wrong pair of glasses, but you're just entirely too polite to say that they gave you the wrong pair. So you just kind of roll with it.
Trying to no feelings, Like trying to no feelings. I hear that.
Oh yeah.
What do you got, Watts? What's your personal answer?
Of the visor?
Yeah.
Really intense tennis match. And then looked in the mirror after and was like, I like this. And then kept it.
Tennis inspired.
I just kept it.
Does it
Tennis
fog up?
inspired.
Like if you start sweating, does it fog up?
No. It's
No.
just
Got airflow.
Fog.
Even on sweaty trials matches, it doesn't fog up.
Not even during sweaty trials.
That's surprising. Wow.
Nothing fogs
What
this
about
thing up.
sweaty Gambit though? 'Cause
Yeah, what if
that's
they come out
another
with a
sweat.
sweatier version of Gambit?
You know
What
what?
if
If I see 4 chaos reaches, then maybe then.
Maybe a little sweat, just a little driplet.
Exactly.
So Jay, when I was younger, for me, the game that got me into playing video games was Kid Icarus. I played and you know, there's people have different views as to whether it was a good game or not, but
I don't think
For
so. I
me-
think everybody agrees that wasn't a very good game.
No.
for
Jesus, man.
For me, Kid Icarus was amazing because of the memories I have of playing it with my brother and the connection that it had there. But, you know, one thing that when we were talking earlier, one thing that connected with me is that you were talking about how video games were escape for you.
Yes.
Can you share with us like how video games became that escape for yourself?
Well, when I was young, I was about 3 years old. Donkey Kong Country came out in 1994. I was 3. My mom was like, "Hey, let's get him a little console so he can play little games." And my dad was like, "Don't get him a game. You know, he can barely do this and that. How's he gonna play a game?" And they turned it on. They left me there. They didn't buy it. My dad caved, and they walked away. And they tell me when they came back, I was running around, jumping over cliffs, like they were in shock of how I just kind of naturally just kind of flowed into it. And Donkey Kong Country was just a game that I would just play my heart out. I'd beat it. I'd play it again. It was so long, it was so in depth, and it was just always nice. Whenever I got like nervous or I had a lot of things growing up from my brother to my parents. They argued a lot. They love each other. I have amazing parents, stuff like that. But it was kind of rough during that time frame. Whenever I thought I was like tearing up as I got older as well. I would always run to the video games, and it was always Donkey Kong Country. And then as it came on, came Metal Gear and just other games, just keep my mind off of things because it would hurt me because I love them to see them because they would go at it, not to put them on blast, but they would really go at it. And I would tear up and stuff like that, in that regard. And also I had a brother, who was very, savage, lack of other words, I guess, towards me. Very cruel. He wanted me to get into gangbanging and stuff like that he was into, and try to take me under his wing. But I always just never wanted to get into that. I was always just like, and now I just want to, play video games and stuff like that. So I locked myself in the room to avoid him, and so I could always count on games to just make me forget about any type of problems I had growing up. And even to this very moment, 28, I'm still, whenever something's kind of going on, man, I don't run obviously now. I got a wife and everything, but like I would, if I'm kind of just like in some kind of mood, I know that I could turn on the game, grab, some friends, and we can just laugh and just, wipe it all clean.
I hear that. I mean, for me, it's so important that's like when you jump into your streams, it's like that message that's being communicated. You're like, that's like your happy place. And for a lot of people, it's so, attracting, like that. It's your energy, it connects with you, and I was wanting to talk about like why you got into streaming, because you seem to, I mean, you're connected with a bunch of people in the community, like as a gamer, but content creation, when did that become like your goal or your focus?
Add-on question: does your nose touch the visor inside?
No, it does not, but it gets close,
Right, trying to be an adult. Trying really hard to be an adult. Okay, go, Jay.
I like it. Bring on all Brian's questions.
All right.
For me, I always told myself, I was like, I'd rather be, live a humble, good life, enjoying, what I'm saying, getting up in the morning, going to work, than be like just wealthy and just dreading every single day of working. And so I was just like, I really want to see if I can do something in gaming. And I believe that through streaming and content creation, that we can all agree as content creators is that we are influencers. We have like a movement. There are people that look up to us, feel our moments. And I believe that you can, make something really positive and make a difference in a lot of people's lives through this. And I was like, wow, that sounds like something that gaming was that for me. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna jump into this, and I would like to talk. I was like, I feel like I fit, so I streamed long, took a while, as we all know, it takes a while, it takes a grind. But
when did you start? What was like the first stream?
I started on the OneActual account. I started streaming like vanilla Destiny, but I started becoming OneActual during the Dark Below era,
nice.
like right at the beginning of the Dark Below.
Early.
I would focus more on Call of Duty, and I liked playing Call of Duty Zombies. That was more of my thing than Destiny at that time. But yeah, that's where I started around that time frame.
Nice.
What was the switchover? When did you kind of move more into Destiny than Call of Duty?
My girl really picked up on it. I could never really get her to play it. I wasn't really. I was kind of like into it, but kind of not into it. But it was kind of a game that we both would just enjoy doing, raids and playing with friends. I was like, what, this is actually pretty cool. So I was like, I enjoy this. I'm gonna run with this. And when House of Wolves dropped, we already know that was like Trials came out and everything. It was a good time, and it just really added on that love for the game. I just grew to love it more and more and more over time.
Nice.
Absolutely.
For me, that connection with the audience really, like, so we were back in Planet Destiny days for us. And for me, that connection with the audience really happened when I started getting like messages. And to this day, I mean, I get them, and our DMs are open I read both the DCP account and my account. Our DMs are open, and I get these like just crazy messages from people that will share with them how, this weekly ritual that we do for just talking about video games means so much more to them. And it just blows my mind. I feel like every content creator has that kind of story where it pulls out that wellspring, because it's not easy and it's hard work. And there's that story, that connection where we pull from to bring strength in when maybe somebody's hating on us or something like that. But have you ever connected with anybody like that in your when you've been streaming?
That hated on me?
No, that that just really appreciated you as a content creator, and that you. Yeah.
Okay, so the most memorable time, like back in, I always get to this one, is at the end of Destiny 1. There was one more weekend of Trials left, And there was this young man in my stream. I believe I want to say he was like 8 or 9. I can't remember exactly. Maybe even younger than that. But he would lurk my stream a lot. For months, according to him. And one day he spoke up and won one of my trials raffles. He's never been flawless. I didn't even really know he was in there. And I invited him in, a young cat, so trying to be on my P's and Q's, for him, stuff like that, be a good, role model a little bit. And I played with him. And then during the card, he was like, I was wondering if I could show you something. And I was like, sure. He's like, I wrote this little thing about you. I've sent in a PlayStation message, and I still wish I had it. But he sent me a little message. He took like a little screenshot of a piece of paper. He was and he wrote, like, 'cause you know how when we hear an essay, we think of pages and pages and paragraphs, but for him, it was like his little essay, and it was like 2 lines, and it was about heroes. And he was like, OneActual is my hero because he makes me feel like I can do anything. And this was a young cat from Sweden, and I don't tear up for anything. It takes a lot to make me really phase that way, and that got me. And really, that's when it like solidified and just really hit home that this, like, content creators, we have an influence here. Like we are. Gotta take a deep breath here. We make impacts every single day, and we got to take note of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
The fact
it's a
that this young man,
responsibility.
yeah, exactly. This young man, literally all the way from Sweden, wrote this about me. We could talk about superheroes, Batman, Superman, but he chose OneActual, and that was even before the visor. And I was like, man, like that's why I do this. I was like, from like right there.
It's awesome.
And
man.
is that why you jumped into like doing help streams? You talked to me about Skolas being your entry point into that.
Right.
What was it about Skolas that connected you? Is it to the Destiny community?
Well, as I was, streaming, as we all know, it's hard to get growth and get that momentum going. It was just me, Lily, and like Nightbot, for months before I got any traction. And
Nightbot's pretty cool. I mean, like
Nightbot,
you can program her to have
commands,
a
you could-
conversation.
Yeah,
yeah.
True. And well, before I started doing Skolas, I made a little Facebook clan, and we would do raids every Tuesday, Wednesday, and we'd have fun. So I was already kind of in the helping thing, just being there for people that never had groups or stuff like that to play with. But what got me my traction was because if you guys remember the House of Wolves era for all the D1 players, momentum was on Trials. Trials was hot, and everybody was playing Trials. So people doing like raids and Crota and Vogue still. So everybody was focused on that, but I never saw anybody, with the exception of myself, do Skolas help. Kind of take you back a little bit.
Skolas was a bitch.
It
Skolas
was
was
a-
hard, man.
Hard.
When they took the burn off of him, remember people would cheat
Hell
to a Galahad or a
Yeah.
Solar Week and just kill him at the beginning? People had to
Oh,
go through the
dude.
whole thing, the dismantle mines.
When you had to learn the mechanics of
Mhm.
that, when you had to trade the poison
Pass the taint.
between players, pass
Yeah.
That's insane. Yep.
I did that. I helped somebody out on stream who didn't have a mic, and it was hard.
Oh, I remember you talking about that. You talked about that for a long time, bro.
It was
Yeah.
hard. We had to tell him to dance when it was hurt, when he needed us
When
to
he
take the
passed-
taint
yeah.
from him, because it was the only way he could communicate was to do an emote.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You gotta dance so you touch your taint, sir.
Can I have your taint? So you did a crap load of those, right?
Yeah, the very first time I did it, I went from just me, Lily, and Nightbot, and a couple viewers to 25 to 30. I started just grinding that daily, and then ended up just doing that alone, bringing up my concurrent viewership to about 50 at that time, and just growing from there.
That's
and
great.
then PvP, all that stuff
that's
came in
a
later on.
crazy feeling, though, right? That's a crazy feeling to see people coming back when you put up that notice that you're going live.
Yeah,
Having
it
people
is.
show up, and those those first dozen people when you're like getting your stuff set up and you're drinking your coffee or whatever, you're getting yourself squared away. To me, that's always the most genuine time for me in a stream, is that
Yeah.
moment where you're connecting with your audience. But
100%.
yeah, so you got into trials help too. Like, so you must have been a PvP god.
That was where it took off, but nah, it's a lot of people don't believe this, man. But in D1, my KD by the time we hit close to House of Wolves was a 0.3. I was garbage. I was
That's good.
horrible.
That's about mine. So that's good.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I was struggling. I was struggling. That's the crazy thing was I was a top 50 player in Advanced Warfare. I was a grandmaster, but I could not get a hold of Destiny. I would like try to play it the same, jump around. And it just never
Different
really
game,
learned
maybe.
my lesson, But started watching streamers like Real Crafty. He was one that I really would watch like all the time and kind of be like, okay, let me see. I want to kind of get better at the PvP side, and I would just practice, but I would never stream it because I didn't want to embarrass myself. And then just as my stream started going along, one guy was like, "Why don't you ever play PvP?" And this is when I started, kind of getting a feel for it. And Elim was the game mode, and I was like, "Yo," I was like, "All right, I'll play some PvP. I think I feel comfortable now." So I started rocking that best class in D1. Don't flame me, chat. The Viking funeral build, Sunsinger in his
Oh
prime.
yeah. Hell yeah, that was the build.
Yeah, and just I started running it. Next thing I know, I look at the viewer count. There's 100. I don't know where they came from, just coming in and stuff like that. But actually, taking it back a little bit, my very first raid that did actually pump me up even more before I started doing PvP was from Real Crafty himself. My very first one, my heart was racing like
That's awesome.
like driving club. Like I was just going absolutely wild. He's the first one to actually like notice me. So I'll always like to tell that.
That's awesome.
Tell that. Give him credit for that.
But those raids, those community raids mean a lot to people. I get messages from the people that we raid after this show, and I can't, they give that push for people to get that partnership. But that was a real goal for you, right? To get that partnership?
Yeah, I want to be a partner, not just to, in the flex or anything like that. Just like finally got it, but just because my chat was cheering for me, everybody wanted. I just wanted to like when you have that check mark, it's kind of like you get that like official, like I'm official Twitch partner kind of feeling, and it's like I was grinding so much, so many people wanted me to get there. A lot of people from D1 remember the road I took. And the things that I faced growing to try to get partnerships. And when I finally got it, it was a pretty amazing day. Not just for me, but a lot of people said they were feeling very emotional because it was like, wow, you got it from because I used to get you guys remember, right? OG streaming. View botters were huge around that kind of time.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
View botters,
Yep.
this you could get your own, all that kind of stuff, those little programs and crap. But one day when I started getting that good concurrent viewership, I was about 100 plus, close to 200 on weekends doing trials. I decided I was gonna apply for partnership, and when I did that, I posted on Twitter. Somebody had it out for me because they sent
Oh.
every stream that as soon as I would crack it on, 2,000 bots would come to my stream within 10
my
minutes.
God.
2,000 bots. So every time I would crack it on, 300, 400, 700, all the way up to 2K. And it was like, man, I would stream and people were coming to my stream, botter. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, this isn't me. So I started
Right.
messaging Twitch and I was like, what do I do? And if anybody's been familiar or had an issue, Twitch sends the same generic email. Just ignore it. Don't bring attention to it and keep playing. But I'm like, why? People are looking at me. They go to the viewer count, see there's not 2,000 people in the stream. I was like, people are gonna start thinking stuff. People don't know me, so my name started taking a toll. Some of my lawyers were like, I don't know, and so I started getting very disheartened. I was like, man, like I was so close, it was so cool, but I was like, my name's getting tarnished. I was taking myself out of the directory. It was, so nobody would kind of see, and I was trying to ignore it, but it was just ruining me. So I was like, what do I do? I quit for 2 weeks, a week to 2 weeks, and then came back. The bots were back. I was like, where are these coming from? And I would keep messaging Twitch and they would never respond. Or they would respond with that generic email. But two people had my back during that time frame that got me to that partnership. And that was the Tefty Teft and that was Real Crafty. Those two gentlemen. Tefty, when during the beginning of our relationship, being friends, stuff like that, I messaged him.
Yeah, I remember.
And I was like, hey man, I was like, I'm in a panic. I was like, what do I do? I was like, should I just quit? Should I just give up? And Tefty took time out of his day before his stream, afternoon, talk to me for like an hour, just motivate me and encourage me, like to just not give up. And it really helped me because I wanted to, because I was like, I look like an idiot. I was like, I look like that guy. I was like, but Tefty, we had a nice, good little talk, and I was actually so surprised. Somebody as big and known as him would come down, to help OneActual with an issue and take time out of his day. So
I definitely wouldn't consider myself big and known at the time, but or even now, honestly. But like, I remember that. I remember the struggle you're going through on that. And it was like, it's just there's some weird things that go on in the Twitch world, right? Some weird things that people do to try to prevent people from, just like I said, being impactful, making differences in people's lives. It's weird, right? But I'm really happy that you got through that stuff, man.
Yeah.
And it's great to see that the community rallied behind you. You got a partnership. You, if I remember correctly, you went on like some stupid sub train that when you first got partnered. That must have felt really good to have that kind of support and feedback.
It was a lot of people who knew me were giving me the same type of encouragement. A lot of streamers were Lumi, Triple Rec. They were all like in my corner, like, don't worry about it, don't stop. And long story short, because I kind of ramble on a little bit. When I did get partnered, I could turn the stream on for just an hour just to let everybody know we're partnered, and also the check mark was there because I didn't tell anybody until that check mark showed up. And so many people came out for me because it was kind of like, awesome. No way he went through because basically I messaged Twitch and I got Crafty's mods hit me up and they were like, look, let's talk. What's going on? And I was like, this and that, these bots, and they were like, all right, we're gonna see what we can do. I don't know if they did anything, but they told me send one more email to them. So I sent them a legit long email to Twitch saying, look, if you think these bots are me, prosecute me. I was like, trace them. I don't care. Do whatever. You have my full-on permission. These are not coming from me. And if this is the reason why I'm not getting part of this and that, I was like, hit me, knock me off, ban me. I was like, do it. I sent them like this just angry email. I remember. And I sent it out. And in a couple days, the bots were gone. Completely gone.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And the next month, I got partnered.
That's awesome.
Wow. That's awesome, man. Month. Yeah.
And when that moment happened, like all the big streamers and the Crafty and Lumi Triple, so many people came out to sub just to be like, you did it, and we're so happy for you. You got over that slump. Because that guy, I don't know who he was.
And then the hard work began.
Yeah. Then the hard work began. The next chapter starts.
The grind, man. So what are you playing these days?
I'm still playing Destiny. I never really give up on, playing it or put it off to the side. It's always something I still enjoy despite the metas and stuff like that. But I have been playing a lot of Anthem lately. And I'm really looking forward to the Division 2 coming later this month for March.
Were you a big Division 1 fan?
Yeah, I was. I didn't really like the vanilla too much because you guys remember everything was so bullet spongy. You just spent like 2 minutes just shooting one ad. But over time, it became a really, really great game.
I was pretty impressed with the demo that, not the demo, but the beta that came out. That was a couple of weeks ago now, right? It's like they had two parts of that. They had the early game and the late game in there in the beta. And in the early game, like it felt snappy and fun. The movement felt better than it did in Division 1, and the gunplay felt better than in Division 1. But when you get to the late game stuff, like it was like, oh shit, all the enemies are super spongy again. But they've been out there saying, actually, we're going to pull back on that based on feedback from the.
They said that from the
beta,
demo or beta,
yeah. So like I'm looking forward to it even more now.
I can't wait for the voice lines in that game. The character dialogue. F you, mother effer.
Jimmy's got a fire. Jimmy's on fire.
The dialogue in that game
Jimmy's on fire
is worth it. I'm excited about the end game in that, but like the dialogue had me cracking up playing that. I cannot wait.
They got Alex. That's what it was. Alex. They got Alex. That was great.
I didn't hear you mention Apex at all, Jay. Though. So you skipping on that?
No, I've been playing it, but it's like on PC, man. Whew. Everybody's trying to be a attorney or something, man. On PC, on console, I'm doing all day with my boys, but go on PC, man.
Yeah, it's sweaty on PC for sure.
Seriously, go just get one other person and do like the single or duo queues where it just fills in people because the matchmaking's different. Like if you go in with a squad of 3, you're only going up against people in the squad of 3.
You know what? I did not know that.
Yeah, so that's why like people are, oh yeah, I only want to go with the squad of 3. That's why it's so rough.
Yeah, I was like, I win with randoms. It's so easy and nice.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a definitely
I'm playing
matchmaking
against
difference.
people just having like a good time, you know, hopping in, trying to get some
Mhm.
games, not suiting up for a tournament, guys.
It is
I'll have to
definitely a
remember
different
that.
pool of players. You are certain of that. I get like so many wins queuing in soul by myself.
Yeah.
But anytime I join up with people, man, it's like, woo, it's a whole nother story. We get super sweaty quick. Well, Jay, thank you very much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. You know, I did want to play one little game before we got started.
Got some.
Yeah.
Is
So
it a Valentine's Day game?
it is not a Valentine's Day game. It is a fill in. There's a missing word in this, and Jay's got to fill in the next line, the next word that fills in the line. All right, you ready?
Explain the rules one more time.
You just got to give me the next word that comes once I stop talking.
Okay.
All right. It's like, you know, so from the halls of
Montezuma.
first to fight for
God and country.
So Jay, I really appreciate like your background in the Marines. I think that a lot of the story that you talk about being the struggles you go through with streaming and and the perseverance and the message that you bring across in your stream, believe it or not, I feel like it comes a lot from your background and your experience as a Marine. So we're gonna get going into this podcast, but I definitely wanted to appreciate, if you haven't checked out OneActual on Twitch, you need to do that. We're gonna have it linked in below, and definitely go sub and sit down and enjoy.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get this biatch started.
Oh boy.
We got some Destiny to talk about.
Lots.
Sure do.
TWAB,
So the
ViDoc.
ViDoc came out. The ViDoc came out today for Season of the Drifter. It was, what was it, 9.5 minutes long. It was pretty girthy, and there was a lot to it.
Pretty
8.5.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know where to get started. They announced a bunch of things that are coming. We're getting Gambit Prime.
Gambit Prime. One round.
A sweaty,
Prime.
A
quote,
sweaty
unquote,
single
version
round.
of
Sweatier
Gambit.
version.
Although most
Sweaty
people, what do they mean by sweaty? Because doesn't Gambit already have skill-based matchmaking in it? So isn't it just going to be like skill-based matchmaking but with rolls and one round? Doesn't that make it less sweaty? I feel like if I'm a casual player, I'm just going to go in Gambit Prime and do my one match and get out of there.
Yeah.
Is
That makes sense.
there going to be win-based association like type of awards though? Did they talk about that?
No idea.
Because I get the impression that you're going to want to win. Like you're going to need to get like a certain amount of wins to make like a bounty checked off or something.
So that's interesting, right? They showed weapons in Gambit Prime, right? But then they showed the armor that you want to use in Gambit Prime coming from another new activity called the Reckoning.
Yes.
Or Reckoning.
Yes.
Which is inside the
So
giant
on March-
sack, right?
It's inside the ball.
It's in the sack.
So we're going in a ball again. Oh my
Again,
God.
we were in there before.
Oh, we've been in all kinds of balls.
Right.
It is Destiny is the game of balls. It's true.
I thought last season was Season of the Ball.
No, it's season of ball again. This is the season of the giant ball.
We've held balls. We've been inside.
Is it
balls,
Year of the
we've
Ball?
Thrown balls.
I am
we've
a ball.
balls. We've slammed balls.
Be the ball. No.
So what we could see is, so what they said is you jump straight into Gambit Prime as soon as this thing comes out.
Mhm.
Right.
And after your first game, you apparently get access to this Reckoning place.
Right. Which looks like a timed PvE event. That's
Yes.
Mhm.
they seem to think it's pretty difficult. Like it looks like it's going to be pretty difficult. They compared it to
Crota.
the Crota raid.
Right. Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
I'm excited about. I love the lantern phase. Loved it.
The
And I
lantern
have-
is really fun. It's cool. Yeah, I like it a lot. It kind of, when I first saw it, it reminded me of a lot of inspiration from the Haunted Forest. Because if it's a timed
Mhm.
activity where you're like going up levels and stuff, it seemed pretty similar to that. So I wonder if they did the Haunted Forest and were like, we have an idea of this kind of timed activity. Let's see what people think. And this is kind of the iteration of that.
Yeah.
So on
So
March 5th, Gambit Prime and Reckoning Tier 1 are coming out, but a week later, Reckoning Tier 2 is coming out, and then a week, or I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks after that. No, 2 weeks after that. Then we get Reckoning Tier 3. So do you guys think this is going to be like Tier 2 is just going to be a more difficult version of Tier 1, or is it going to be somehow different content?
Based on the ViDoc, it looked like there was different content associated with the different tiers. Like it had like the base level entry for Tier 1, and then a different level for Tier 2, and different level for Tier 3. And obviously the best rewards, I'm assuming, is going to come from Tier 3.
So like where the blind well has tiers, right? But it's all it's in the same place, but it has different like enemy configurations.
That's a good point.
But you think there's actually going to be different places for Tier 2 and Tier 3? Like kind of like forges?
Right?
Yeah.
It looked different.
It's in the same place, but I think it's set out slightly different.
Also, that sack is pretty big.
It's a big sack.
It's a big sack, right?
The 9 is hiding in that sack somewhere. I don't know what they've been doing.
All of them?
The whole of them. The 9 of them.
Would you
All
say
9 of
them?
All 9.
All 9 deep in the sack?
I mean, I hear they swim really well.
Yeah.
There's good swimmers.
So it's interesting that they're going to have this gameplay loop of you do Gambit Prime, you get sweaty in Prime, and then you go over to the Reckoning, you get some rewards. They're going to give you some armor that's going to help you have enhancements. You're going to get enhanced to then go back into Gambit Prime to perform.
So you earn the armor in Reckoning for Gambit, and the armor that you earn has, I think, special perks on it for Gambit, and you can build a set that has like a loadout. You have a role basically, depending on which set you get. You have one of 4 roles. You could be I forgot the name of the roles.
Reaper, Invader, Collector, Sentry.
And then each one of those roles has a different color associated with it, so you get easily identified too.
Side note, if you go to the TWAB, it shows the colorblind versions of all of those armors. So what they do in Destiny is actually really cool. They don't just want to put like a blue film over everything or a red film. They individually go in and change the items that need to be changed for readability. So that's what they've done with the armor sets. So I think a lot of us are going to be changing to one of them so we can have purple and pink. Instead of red.
A lot of us, or what?
You.
All of us.
Jay, so they talk about these specific classes and the perks that come from it. But one of the things that I wanted to find out is what play style we would be most geared towards, right? So I know we all had a chance to think about it, and I wanted to go through each one of the classes, the styles, and then see which one we would most be like. Which one because we're gonna have to choose, right? We're gonna have to.
Well, before we do that, Pope, what's interesting here is that this is the first time in Destiny that we're gonna have like kind of like armor builds that kind of work together, right? This is kind of a first.
Right, and it's like a very tiptoe entry into it. This could
very
be applied.
Tiptoe.
This is one game mode. This could be applied, and we've been asking for this for a long time on this podcast. But this could be applied across the game.
Well, maybe. Well, I mean, I'm sure they want to see how this goes, right? Like at this point, do we suspect that this is just going to happen or these suits, these armor sets are just going to be optimized for Prime? It's only going to be active in that.
Pray that is true, because if they're also like, oh, all these perks also work in other places, well, shit, this is now the only armor you can wear.
Yeah.
Well, also, if you don't have the DLC, you can still play Gambit. So I don't think they'd want people with those set bonuses going into regular Gambit, because the people who don't own it don't have. Apparently, Lars said that it is for Prime only.
So it's for Prime only.
Yeah.
Well,
so you'll still get the cool colors, but you won't get to get the benefits. So if you were to say get a full Invader set and then try and bring it into PvP, you're not getting any of that.
No.
It looked like just perks, right? It looked like extra perks were on this armor.
My guess of how they're gonna do this, to make it work for both solo play and playing with a team. My guess is as well is when you go to Reckoning, like each section's probably going to give you different armors. So maybe first week only this part of the armor is available, and the next week maybe this part is available. I don't know if it's like that. That's just kind of the impression I got. But I wouldn't be surprised if each armor piece has a perk. And then
One
if you have
perk
the
on it.
full thing, then you get like a big boost of a perk, like fatty perk.
Do you think there's going to be a set bonus with it? You really think that?
I feel like there's
There
going to be a
should be.
set bonus, but
If there's
I think
not,
if you're
then
going
everybody's gonna just
solo,
mix and match, right?
well, yeah. Then I think if you're going solo and you're like, all right, I'm going to do like some invader, some sentry, so you don't get the big boost, but you still get some perks that you think are useful for what you're trying to do.
So,
I don't think your snakes light up until you get the full set.
They don't
oh, really? So if you want to glow, you have to have the full set.
believe
Right.
so.
that's
Really?
and
I
that's
wanna
when you-
glow,
that's
Did
when
Tef.
you
they
get
say
that.
that in the right
I want
At
to
least
glow
they're
up
I
in
wanna
that
glow.
sack.
That's right. I want to
No,
be
what I'm-
shining
what I'm
bright
seeing
deep in the
glow.
sack. You know what I'm saying?
They get us in the full matching gear, and then we get an aura above us, and that gives us our
We get an
our,
aura as well.
extra. I mean, it looks like it.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Each
Fatty.
one of
So-
them has an aura, a specific aura above their head.
So this
Yeah.
is
I
definitely
can
interesting
actually see
because
that.
this is 100%
Bring
a
it up.
first if that's the case. If like you were to get some sort of set bonus, the way I took it and read it was that it's kind of like raid armor in D1 having perks that only work in the raid.
That could also be the case. If that's the case,
that
then I
could be
find
the
it
case.
somewhat disappointing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say no
Yeah.
because they want to be more RPG. I'm gonna say it's set bonuses.
if it is great,
I'm gonna agree.
that'd be awesome. I would like to see that and see them kind of explore that.
Well, and we talked about this though, Tefty. Like we talked about this about wanting to see more like activity specific armor that benefited that area. You could wear it in other things, and you could do other things with it, like Nightfalls and raid. And we were always complain that the raid armor had that. Not complained, but made an example of how the raid armor benefited it being in the raid. It should be applied across the other activities.
Right.
And I think that now that we start seeing them roll this out, we're going to see it in Gambit, Season of the Drifter, and then other activities as they create them. We're going to start seeing this.
I don't know if we'd see it in every single activity.
Yeah,
like,
I
this
don't
is
agree either.
specifically something for Gambit Prime, which they mentioned was like a one round Gambit, one round
Yeah,
Gambit
one
mode.
version of Gambit. Yep.
Like I
Sweaty.
imagine
That'd be very
to flesh
disappointing
flesh
if
out
that's the case.
gameplay there, adding rolls via armor is like one of those methods.
Right.
So
If that's the case, Patrick, I'm gonna tell you honestly, I'm gonna be disappointed in that. I feel like that there's a lot of room in Destiny to grow where characters, especially after playing like a game like Apex, I know it's PvP, but really like pushing on the individuality of each character and the support system and how you can work in synergy with others. There is room to grow in Destiny, and that's where it should go to be fresh and creative, is that you should be able to boost your character to be more supportive or more effective in a specific area that you play in. It just
They're definitely
lends it to some.
I like this whole concept of them leaning into roles in there. We've had conversations on the podcast a few times about roles being in Gambit and how they could adjust those things. I'm really curious on how effective that's going to be with these perks. Like
Be interesting.
I want it like
Yeah, that's the thing.
I want it to be significant. Like if you are rocking the assassin gear, like it's obvious, with your benefit to it. Obviously, it'll be obvious when you see them in red. Be like, oh, they're going to be slaying.
Or pink.
Or pink, right?
Right.
Forgive me. Sorry.
It's
This is the
it's
trouble
exciting.
with getting something like this. It gives you some of the information, but not all the information, because we start
they're
making
keeping the perks
doing
secret.
speculation about what those perks can be. And by the end of the conversation, everybody's way overshot what they could possibly be. So when we actually get them, we're like, oh, that's what it is.
Right.
I imagine
feel
it'd be
like-
something along the lines of like like Watt said, the Haunted Forest. You know how we got to have different helms to put on that affected what we did in Haunted Forest. I imagine it'd be something similar to that, honestly.
Well, what if a person with the invader full set, they're the only person that gets an overshield when they invade? Like if you invade with a green set, then you don't get that overshield. What if it's as significant as that?
Well, let's talk about the generic the generic definition that they gave us about it. So the invader, they gave us the wording that says hunt your opponents and steal their moats, right? And
Interesting. So we did hear that you're going to be able to drain moats now. Is that for everyone or is that just for the invader?
That's what I'm curious about. Like, does this wording mean that this is how they're going to be? Does this give us a hint of their bonuses? The collector is said to gather all the moats and send blockers. I wonder if you have a bonus as a collector to, like, say you get 10 moats, right? And after at every 5, you get a boost in speed of percentage, right? Like you can run faster. Cool. 5, 10.
What if you
15.
can hold more moats?
Ooh.
And you say if you can go to 20, and then if you dunk 20, it drops a special takeout on the other side.
So and the Reaper is clear waves, and it says clear waves and slay larger enemies. So
increase damage to taken,
damage bonus, damage boost or something like that, right?
Imagine a sentry using malfeasance doing that. That would be like, that's super specialized, like really cool. Like, that's exciting.
And so the sentry is the last one. It says counter invaders and protect your bank. So
what?
I don't know.
Isn't that everybody's job? That's a weird.
I mean, maybe
maybe you get a boost on damaging.
Do extra damage to invaders?
Well, that, or maybe you have like a blip of where they are on the map or something.
Oh,
and
they're highlighted for you.
Like
counterintelligence.
Counterintelligence. Yeah. Or maybe
there's a lot of really cool stuff that they can do.
Maybe you can shoot through their overshield, so it doesn't count for you if you're a sentry. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. It's definitely. I want it to be significant so that we are encouraged as players going into Gambit Prime that we're going to want to be talking about our build setups.
Well, it definitely looks like that's what they want. As designers of this mode, they want us to kit out with a full set of Gambit Prime gear or Reckoning gear to go in there and do the best possible stuff. It does make me a little concerned, though, that everybody's going to go back to looking exactly the same. Because we're all rocking Gambit Prime stuff.
True.
You know? It's the only issue with those type of stuff. I mean,
well, will this armor be better than enhanced gear that we get from the Dreaming City and the Raid right now?
For Gambit Prime, it should be.
It should be. Will it be?
Are you going to be doing that stuff this season?
What if it has enhanced perks as well as other perks on it?
Ooh.
That would be great. That would be really great.
I hope it does. That's another thing. I'd be disappointed if it's not enhanced perks.
Considering that they said Reckoning was like a Pinnacle activity, and we're getting, Pinnacle armor from that. I would hope it has it.
Yeah.
I would hope so. Yeah.
I just hope that they apply this, that they learn some lessons from Gambit. They create some cool perks. They integrate it, and then we see this being expanded on in other,
right,
game modes. And I would like to see it in PvP. I would like to see us going into competitive games with more Overwatch type specific
for
class
Destiny
setups.
Oof.
All right. That's. I'm telling you, that's what's fun about like a game like Apex is that you learn to work with your teammates and benefit each other. That's what makes PvP interesting.
The thing about Apex, though, is it's already like this confined box of balances that they put together with that stuff, with some exceptions, obviously, with the hitboxes. But like, it was from the beginning designed that way, and not having things evolve with a looter shooter.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, obviously,
we can talk about PvP in a bit because
that's true. Okay.
Probably should.
I do want to say I think it's very interesting that instead of taking casual Gambit and making it one round, they made the sweaty version. The stakes are high Gambit 1 round. Interesting.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm just gonna burn through Gambit rounds faster. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I'm happy about that too. I think it's interesting that the sweaty version doesn't have a comeback round for people who lose, whereas the casual one,
they're imagine it takes longer it's not I imagine it wouldn't be a single Gambit round like we think of a single Gambit round, right? Like
Maybe there's there's different phases to the single round.
sure.
So there is an interview that Lars did with Deej on the IGN podcast, Fire Team Chat, and where they talked about those rounds being 6 to 10 minutes long.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's an average Gambit match right now? About 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
Sometimes they can go up to 20 if you are
Yeah,
back
they
and
Yeah,
forth.
if you go for the full 3, it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing they said. Thanks for reminding me, Chant. But they said that the Prime Evils are going to be different in Prime as well. They said they're going to have raid-like boss mechanics where you have to work
That's right.
with your team to actually take that thing down. You don't just shoot at it. There's going to be some kind of mechanic to it.
You can't
Which
melt
I
it in
think
2
makes it more
seconds.
fun. Yeah. I think that makes it way more fun. I mean, you probably will still be able to melt it at some point, but I think that makes it more fun to have those kind of things with mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Mechanics are fun.
We had that in Court of Oryx, kind of, right? It's like kind of mini raid mechanics in the Court of Oryx.
Literally
and it was
mini
hilarious. Yeah, it was
literally a
mini Crota.
baby Crota. Yeah, I love that.
Jay, do you play much Gambit?
Not currently, but I did used to play it a lot towards the beginning. Now it's just it's rough to solo queue. Really rough to solo queue.
Yeah.
Are you what part of this announcement today, does any of it kind of excite you? I know you would like the carry mechanics of trials. Any of this scratch that competitive itch for you?
When I saw it, I got excited. I thought it was really cool. I really want that Invader set. I'm going straight for that. And it's really kind of though, like I'm not really sure exactly what they're gonna do with it. It's like we all kind of see what we see in the TWAB in the video, but it's kind of like I don't know what to think of it. Like what they can actually do. Like the perks, is it gonna be the set perks, or are they gonna be like, well, those perks gonna be like a huge difference compared to somebody who just jumps in with no perks. I'm just curious to see how it plays out, but 100% on the 5th, I'm gonna be jumping right in.
So when I look at the ViDoc and like for instance the collector, they show there's 4 pieces of armor and there's 4 perks under like the word collector.
Oh, really? I didn't see that. Time to rewatch it. Let's bring that up.
So I'm wondering if there is going to be a set bonus or it's just going to be 1 perk per piece of armor.
Oh, interesting. So you can mix and match. You can create your rainbow armor.
I feel like there has to be like a big bonus for having all of the same one though. Otherwise, everyone would just mix and match because that would be the best thing to do.
Maybe none of them are active unless you have the complete set. Maybe all 4 perks are only activated if you have the full set.
Possibly.
Is it going to be 4 sets of different armor, or is it going to be 1 set of armor that you can change depending on what role you want to play?
It's a good question. I mean, when we look at the photos, they look different, but that's just because they're on. I mean, the warlock. There's a warlock as the repeating class when they're showing them, and the warlock looks the same.
It does. It's just the chroma that's different, right?
Right. So we may have just 1 set for each class, and then the chroma, as you put it, is applied at that point. So it's not we're not going to get the variety maybe that we of each type being its own armor set. I don't think we're going to get that. In my mind, when I first heard it announced, I thought like we would get a piece of armor. And then it would be sort of like the Iron Banner, where you put skins on it, selections and each one would be a selection for a different type of class: Invader, Reaper, Collector, Sentry. So you could visually identify that person, not just the color, but the armor type as well.
I don't know which I prefer.
I think that would be it.
Developing entirely new sets of armor is really fucking expensive. So like I could totally see them just like being okay, the chroma is the thing that people will probably see first, so that's just easier to do.
Yeah, but the question is, are there 4 unique sets of armor for all 3 classes?
Fuck no.
Or So it's just one set of armor for all 3 classes, and then you apply like a modifier to that piece of armor.
I have no idea how the armor works, but I'm just I highly.
I'm not talking about cosmetically distinct. I'm talking about, is there a Reaper set? Is there an Invader set? Is there a Collector set? And is there a Sentry set that you have to collect for all 3 of your characters?
It doesn't look
or is there
like
one set? Is there one set that you like toggle something, either like with the chroma system that we used to have in Destiny 1, or
my guess would be a toggle, because that would be easier on our vault and storage.
Sure would be.
Imagine having 4 different sets for every single character. How's your vault space doing there, Brian?
I don't know. I haven't logged on to Destiny in quite a long time.
There you go. Toggle is just a simpler solution, so you're not having to bog people's vaults down.
Toggle makes sense.
Well, I was
and you apply some sort of consumable to it that activates perk or something like that. I can definitely see something like that.
So if you get a helmet, you can make it an Invader helmet, a Collector helmet, a Sentry helmet, or a Reaper helmet.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
My guess is you have to unlock those perks from Reckoning. Would be my guess.
Right. That's what I'm assuming. You go into Gambit Prime, it unlocks Reckoning. Then once there's 3 tiers of Reckoning, they dole out the consumables or the things that you put into the gear, as you also collect the gear from the Reckoning. And then I guess the weapons then are only from Gambit Prime, right?
Well, there's 3 peaks. There's 3 Pinnacle weapons, and are you talking about the?
No, this is separate.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you're not talking about the Pinnacle yet.
Pinnacle weapons separate from this. We're talking about weapons as rewards from Gambit Prime. They look really cool.
They look cool.
They look really good.
Looks like Patience and Time is back in Legendary.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so in that clip, he fires and then he goes invisible, right?
Yeah.
Is he crouching?
He was also crouching.
He was a hunter.
Yeah.
He was also a hunter. So it's very unclear what the fuck was going on.
You're right. Why did they do that?
It also made a really weird noise when he shot it, but that could have just been the audio mixing.
Yeah, they like to make some interesting stuff. Like Omelon.
I only got to watch it like 5 times. I feel like I need to watch it if you want to.
But yeah, there was a lot going on in that spot, but a lot of people pointed to Patience and Time, said that looks like a legendary version of Patience and Time.
I only
went invisible after he fired.
I only watched it once, so I didn't even look at the class type that was firing. I just saw the sniper rifle and then invisibility. I was like,
yeah, it was a hunter and he was crouching.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lame.
Yep.
I did appreciate getting the ViDoc debut of Elliot Gray. I don't know if you guys got to see Elliot Gray.
Oh, I didn't even see him in there.
He's a designer, and he wasn't.
He's sitting in the background doing random shit. He's not actually. It's like me saying, "Hey, I'm on the news this week," and I just happen to be in the background of some fucking interview that's going on.
Patrick, are you the guy that just blows out all the candles at a kid's birthday party just to fuck with them?
If they stuck at it, yeah.
You're taking 1 minute too long. Blow them out.
I want some of that cake too. I don't want the kid to spit all over it.
Yes, so he's in the background, and he's seen their texting and picking his nose, and it's great.
Excellent.
And also, so P Smurf in chat said that there's a Taken War Beast at 756 in the ViDoc.
Oh yeah.
And I went to it, and I must say it looks like a Taken War Beast.
Is that in the sack?
It's in Gambit Prime.
In Gambit Prime. Interesting.
Which is not in the
So
sack.
maybe they're adding new Taken-ified dudes.
That's cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We're also getting 3 new Pinnacle weapons, one for Vanguard, one for Crucible, and one for Gambit. All 3 of them look pretty interesting. I would say there's the most discussion about the Crucible one, which is a lightweight submachine gun, and it's a void damage weapon. Not a lot of love for submachine guns right now in the current Crucible meta because of shotguns.
Yeah.
Doing the exact same thing, but faster.
I do like the fact that it kills with any weapon, improve this weapon's damage for a short period of time. So
it is interesting.
You could jump in. You could jump in like a lot of these shotgun warriors are doing, right? You could go in with your shotgun and blast a guy or two, get some kills with it. Immediately switch to this submachine gun and have extra damage rounds to get a clip and finish off a few others.
Yeah, we do have access to kill clip submachine guns, and they were super powerful in year one. But as soon as shotguns got moved into
But
or
that's
out
not
of
what
the
this.
power
That's
slot.
not what this is saying, though.
No, I understand. I understand what
Okay.
you're saying. And I'm just comparing it to Kill Clip because it's a similar situation.
Wait.
It's not exactly the same.
Actually, can you explain the perk a little bit better for me? I'm sorry.
Well, no, any kill with any weapon.
Okay, so you can get some kills with your super, you think?
It says
Any
kills
weapon.
with any weapon,
Any weapon, okay.
improve
Any
this
weapon.
weapon's damage for a short period of time. So you can get a kill with a rocket launcher, get a double kill, switch to this, and immediately have a damage buff.
I wonder how much of a damage buff it is. Because if it's not significant, it needs to be more than kill clip after a kill. Because otherwise,
I
you're
think
just going
so.
to use a gun that has kill clip on it, right?
I don't
Or a
know. I think
shotgun.
there's a lot of aggressive play styles
See,
that would benefit.
What if
from
you're using a
jumping in there.
shotgun? You slide in, boom, boom, get 2 kills, and you switch to this gun, and it's already amped
That's
up.
what I was just saying. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would have to be significant. It'd have to be a real,
It would have to be a
like
good.
Bot said, better than Kill Clip. Otherwise, you'd just rather have a shotgun.
No, it's different than kill clip. Like you're going in. I think it's a great perk. Like if you're an aggressive player, you're getting kill clip immediately. You don't have to get 2 kills with this gun and then switch to it. A kill with it and then reload. You're immediately shooting with it. I think it's interesting that they're trying new stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I mean, some of the other Pinnacle guns are by far way more intriguing.
Way more interesting. Yeah.
There's the Gambit one, 20% delirium. Listen to this, Tefty.
Oh,
Third.
I read
Kills
it.
increase this weapon's damage until it's stowed or reloaded. Do you think that your master class warlock, can? I mean,
I stopped listening. What?
You main warlock, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. What's a warlock?
Okay, so a
Well,
warlock
there's
has
more
these-
than that that's interesting about this gun. It's also a rapid fire. It's the only one of its
It's a
archetypes.
bullet hose, yeah.
So it's a rapid fire machine gun. It's going to have a
Yeah.
larger clip so that you'll be able to take advantage of this perk theoretically, like more. Because if you get some kills with the first 4 bullets and you got like 70 something bullets, like that's a lot of damage potential. And the perk doesn't go away until you stow the weapon or reload it.
I believe it was confirmed. I'm not sure, but apparently Cosmo did say that lunafactions don't affect the perk, so you can just keep shooting.
Oh my god!
That's awesome. Oh my god.
That's gonna be good.
You might want to bring a warlock into your Gambit Prime sweaty.
Or a Titan with a rally wall,
Or a
right?
Titan with rally
Yeah,
wall, but
Tower
a
Rally
well,
Walls.
a well on
Are
a
you going to be able to
warlock
get
and-
this gun by doing Gambit Prime, or are you going to have to
Yo,
do
better
regular
be able
Gambit?
to. I'm gonna be. It should just do both. It should just be both, because I know that the Pinnacle weapons are open to everybody. So I'm hoping that
Oh,
it's
right,
just
yeah.
just Gambit, like just Gambit.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Did they
All
did they say if Infamy is tracked on both Prime and regular?
better be.
I'd hope so. right?
I don't know.
Yeah, haven't spoken about that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's gonna be both, and both are gonna have infamy. Otherwise, that would be a real weird decision.
So at
The Vanguard the Vanguard has the Oxygen SR3, which is a precision scout
This
rifle.
looks really good.
This set looks stupendous. This has a new version of Firefly. The more headshots you score on an opponent or any opponent, like sequential opponents, the bigger your Dragonfly explosion is.
It's just precision hits.
I like
Right,
explosions.
precision hits. It doesn't have to be kills. It just has to be
Yeah.
precision hits.
So you can just like dome a knight in the head a bunch and swap and kill a scion and boom.
Or when you finally do kill him, he makes a big explosion and kills everything around him.
Yeah.
So
Did you guys see it and
looks-
think
sounds awesome.
this is a little tip of a hat to hung jury?
A little bit, right?
It's a
Still
little
one
hung.
weapon.
Yeah.
It's definitely
Because
hung.
hung jury was the Firefly scout, right? So
Right,
this is
yeah.
like, kind of looks similar.
I'm grinding
Yeah.
for this one. This one's my baby. I love scout rifles, and man,
That adds up.
So just because I read this, I read this perk. Is it the lifetime precisions, or is it like a small window of how many precisions you've hit? Is it
No, small window.
Small window.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, I think
Build it
about
up.
50,000.
I got 3,000 headshots.
No,
with
but
this
like I
weapon.
got excited over the potential of them having like this long tail. Power creep is the wrong word for it, but it could be a power creep if there was like,
That's definitely power creep.
yeah, but it's fun also. power creep ends up becoming fun.
That would be fun.
When there's like,
I like your
there's
idea,
stacked stats that equate to more damage. And when the first time I read that, I was like, wait, I didn't see the small window of time, but it makes sense. It's small window. You know, I can dream, right?
That sounds like a Borderlands 3 weapon right
it
there.
It does, doesn't it? Right?
I did hear
hear about PAX East.
Maybe.
I did hear about some criticisms of some people mentioning that some of these weapons do look like reskins of archetypes.
Welcome to Destiny.
Were you guys hoping for whole new gun designs, or
we have that in the Gambit Prime weapons?
Mm-hmm.
Those are like brand new design weapons.
I didn't seem to have a problem with the Pinnacles being like reskin designs. Or I thought the Pinnacles meant more like that curated role that had something cool and special that did something neat, not necessarily a new weapon design in my mind.
Yeah, like I don't mind those being, it's just this gun, but it's painted differently. I don't mind that at all. It's got a cool perk on it, and that's what I'm happy about. And we have some new actual archetypes and new design stuff in there as well. So, plus we're getting exotic weapons and armor, which we haven't seen yet. So
yes, and hopefully they don't show on Instagram.
I hope they don't.
It's the worst when they reveal it that way. Yeah, I feel like at this point in Destiny's life, I'm completely used to the fact that they're going to reuse a lot of stuff and gun models and all that. And I'd love a world refresh of all the vendors, but obviously it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. So
probably not until September.
Yeah,
would be my guess.
Yep.
Yeah, that was one thing about the VidDoc too, actually, was that they definitely talked about the Season of Opulence. They mentioned it, but they seem to hint at something after that too, which really makes me think we're going to get a DLC in September now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was literally like the next thing after that. And he's like, maybe I wasn't supposed to say that. So there's definitely something coming.
Yeah.
You felt like that was a September thing though from that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah? Like I definitely got that feeling that they threw that in there specifically to say, hey, it's coming.
All right. I mean, it just felt like it was obviously there's something else coming, but like,
yeah,
jump into the conclusion that's going to be September. I don't know.
That was the hint that I felt they were dropping. Yeah.
Okay. If they show up at E3, then yeah, we're seeing something in September. If they don't show up at E3, I don't think we're seeing anything in September. I think it's the next thing is coming. It's just, it's not quite ready for September.
If they show up at E3, where did they show up?
Oh, right. Because no more Activision booth.
I don't think they show up at E3. I think they show up at
do a live stream like before E3 or after E3.
What if they pull a respawn and they go to PAX and they're just like, it's going to be available tomorrow.
There.
Wow. That's wild.
That would be a rough summer.
Yeah.
A cardboard box outside the convention center. That's what I like. Down to earth, relatable.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like, normally we see them on the Sony floor or at the Sony press conference, right? For at least the big stuff. But we don't know what the deal is with that deal anymore, right? Like the Sony exclusivity. I mean, is that still going on? Was that tied to Activision? Is that tied to
it's a good point.
Bungie? Like,
yeah, it could be Sony based. Also, I mean, I'm sure they're big enough that they can get their own space and coordinate all that stuff at a convention for E3. Yeah. So I don't think
and with Sony just straight up pulling out of E3, like a lot of people are not seeing the value of trying to share the spotlight at E3 anymore. Like,
true.
Hey, we're gonna announce this, 3 weeks after E3 or 3 weeks before E3, and have our own news cycle. We'll get days of news about the next Bungie thing.
I guess that's what I'm saying is that if we are getting something, if what they're saying is what's happening next is alluding to something in September, then if we don't hear about it sometime in June, whether it's a live stream or a ViDoc or whatever, then I don't think it's going to be September, personally. Or it's going to be a small update that happens like they start talking about it in August.
Power weapons are getting some changes.
Thank God.
For grenade, they talk specifically about rocket launchers that have cluster bombs and exotic power weapons in general. They're kind of trying to give people more options, right? Is they want to make legendary power weapons more powerful so that you don't feel like you're forced to go with a exotic power weapon just so you're not like getting left behind DPS wise, which I think is wise, right? So that we're not using Whisper of the Worm for the next 2 years, and we're not using, whatever is like the exotic du jour for the next 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is smart. So grenade launchers are getting all across the board PvE damage increase to 25%. They're also getting more reserve ammo, and in most cases, grenade launchers gain 3 rounds in reserve, but this amount may vary based on the perks you have, like field prep. And magazine perks and mods no longer affect ammo reserves. So you'll do more damage per shot, and you'll probably have more ammo for your grenade launcher.
Okay. Grenade launchers.
Rocket launchers is a little different. Rocket launchers across the board are getting a 60 to 65% buff for the actual damage that they do on the initial impact, but the cluster bombs are getting their damage reduced by 80%.
Looking at you, Riven.
That's not gonna change the Riven thing, though. You can do it with just about anything.
I mean, it's because of cluster bombs.
At this point,
Yeah.
I go in there with cluster bombs.
Yeah, because they do more damage, right?
Yeah,
Cluster
just
bomb
go right
rocket
through
launcher
it. Yep.
more damage. And that's what they're trying to fix here. They want more rocket launchers to be more viable, aside from just cluster bomb rockets.
Yeah, they look at the data. They see if he doesn't have cluster bombs, people delete it or don't use it. Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge buff. 60%.
Yeah.
Is huge. Now, if you could use a tracking rocket launcher instead of a cluster bomb rocket launcher, like they're just easier. I guess there are some that have cluster bombs and tracking.
Yeah.
I think it's very few though. There's like 2 in the game.
Yeah, they do exist. I mean, it's nice to have options. Obviously, it's great to have like different things for your heavy, but it's tough to pull away from having a machine gun in that slot.
Yeah. Well, the 25% boost to grenade launcher damage, the larger boost to rocket launchers, like that's going to be really nice. And then I think linears are also getting a 10% increase to damage, if I remember right, in PvE as well. So like for the most part, legendary heavies sounds like they're getting some much needed love. We'll see if it's enough to actually make most people unequip their, higher tier exotic weapons in PvE.
Yeah.
True.
What do you guys think of the changes to Two-Tailed Fox?
What?
They talk about that. It's just I think that is going to be the new powerful.
What do you?
I didn't see that. What changes?
Not specifically,
not
specifically to that, but to the way that it now is effective. I think that rocket launcher becomes
because it gets a 60 to 65% increase in damage as well. Oh, they also mentioned in the thing above this is exotics will have their unique properties well rolled. They mentioned that exotics like legendaries are getting retuned, but exotics are most likely not really going to be.
I thought they worded it that
exotic.
They're tuning it separately.
Exotic rocket launchers have their damage tuned separately. So okay, I read that wrong. Then I was thinking, man, like if they're gonna make that's such a beautiful gun, and the design behind the rocket launcher, and that is the idea behind that of how you got one dealing shield damage and one doing impact damage or explosion damage, and just the versatility of that and being able to use that. I just never pull it out, and I just think it's such a neat idea.
I don't have it yet.
You don't have it yet?
Mm-mm.
I don't think I've ever seen Two-Tailed Fox actually work. I don't think anybody even uses the thing.
Well, that's the thing. That's the problem.
in PvP, it's like too slow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in I don't know. Everywhere I've tried to get it to work, she's like, this isn't that good. If you're shooting at a completely still target, it's like, oh yeah, I finally get to see it do damage. The target's still, I should just use a sniper rifle.
Use anything, just anything else.
Yeah.
The target still, it doesn't matter what you use, it's going to do good damage.
I'm hoping to see
there's some changes
versatility.
coming to the Eververse store. They're getting rid of prismatic facets, and they're going to have more stuff for direct sale.
How do you guys feel about that? Because I've heard a lot of people be very unhappy about that. Because the prismatic matrix, you got one facet free per week, right?
Mhm.
So you could go to the matrix and put your thing in and see if you get one for free. But if you didn't have all of that stuff unlocked, it's still total RNG as to what you get. So I personally felt like as long as they keep the stuff for sale for Bright Dust and they give us ways to direct purchase, plus we're still getting engrams when we level up, I personally think that that's fine.
Did they confirm that you can do it with Bright Dust and Silver?
No, the packages you have to get for Silver. But I mean, like, you know how they have the rotating items every week that you can buy with Bright Dust? As long as they keep that.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, my only concern is like prismatic facet worked, and if you played the game, you pretty much knocked out the majority on that list, and you could fill out anything with it. In this way, I feel like if you haven't got it yet, you're kind of forced to use Silver.
Yeah, the way this is worded, it sounds like the stuff won't be available for Bright Dust. It sounds like it's only for Silver. Like the exact quote is, we'll be removing prismatic matrix. Instead, every week there will be unique bundles available that can be directly purchased for Silver, allowing you to directly buy exactly the items you want. All unique bundles will also contain an exclusive vanity item available only through that weekly bundle.
That's kind of fucked up. They say that you can buy exactly the items you want in a bundle with probably a bunch of items you don't want.
For Silver.
Well, it's like the bundles now, right? Where it's like the main reason you're getting that is for the skin, but they're also giving you like 3 engrams and a transmat effect, right?
Right.
They're giving you a bunch of stuff that's like, I don't really care about this. I'm literally just buying it because of the exclusive item.
Right.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think that direct purchases are a more honest way of doing microtransactions than loot boxes. So I guess I support this, but I will miss that the prismatic matrix was a way for me to get stuff without paying for it.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I was like, it was a cool system. If I put enough time into the game, I'd pretty much get everything. Now I feel like I will most likely have a couple pieces missing, and Silver will be the only option to get it.
I get a lot of stuff just from like, you know, leveling up.
I literally get every single thing every season just from playing the game, and it's like.
But you got to remember, there's a bunch of people that don't play as much as we do.
I know. There's plenty of people that don't, but at the same time, there are so many ways for you to accumulate Bright Dust. There are the entire suite of Eververse bounties, which you can do, and like stuff goes on sale. So, you know, if you want the item but you don't want to pay for it, you have many ways to get it now, or like currently. They are taking one of those methods away from you. That was a slightly more deterministic way. Basically, to me, this just sounds like, oh, we're going to be increasing the amount of like bundles that we sell, because the prismatic matrix for me at least is just like, okay, like by the time we're like halfway through a season, this thing does nothing anymore.
We think that you guys are getting too much free shit, and we'd like to sell you more.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I don't think
no.
At this point, though, you would be technically funding Destiny 3. Right?
One way to look at it.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to Bungie, right? They're self-funded.
As the you know, the people that are getting everything in these packages by just playing are not really who they're talking to here, right? Like if I'm playing and I want to be able to just buy what I want if
Yeah.
if I haven't gotten it.
I agree with that.
And
Yeah.
and the prismatic engrams was frustrating because it's like the RNG of it. I see the item I want, and I keep putting it in there, and it keeps giving me the items I don't want. So if I'm gonna spend the money on something that is a cosmetic item that is, for sale, then I want to buy that item. I don't know. I'm never a fan of microtransactions, but as far as when we were talking about a games as a service, where we talked about their annual pass covering, this stuff. I think the real question is, what did we expect to get in that? And these vanity items that they're putting into Eververse really warranted, or should they be on sale, or have we reached that point where there's enough things in the game that these vanity items are appropriate to sell?
It's like we said a long time ago, right? The silly stuff, like all of the emotes inspired by pop culture and dances and all of that stuff, I think that's fine to sell as a microtransaction.
Mm-hmm.
Well, some of the stuff they're showing a couple of ships that are unique. They're showing, I believe that's a malfeasance skin that is very unique.
Yeah, it looks
very
really
beautiful.
cool.
Yeah. They still got the last word. Is that the same last word skin?
Yeah, it's
That's
the same
up now.
It's the
Yeah,
same
the text
one.
machina one. Yeah.
What looks like a sparrow that looks straight out of Trials of Osiris.
It has the wings
mouth
on
is
it from the wings on it from the Warlock chess piece.
Ooh.
And
No,
a
don't
ghost
try
that
it.
would look perfect next to your Warlock in Anthem.
You're gonna get it. You're gonna be. This is the stuff that pisses you off, Briar. Like that.
It does piss me off.
That malfeasance skin
Yeah.
is a straight Gambit skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even. It doesn't piss me off that it looks like Gambit. It pisses me off that I play a looter shooter that I paid full price for, and I'm paying an annual pass for, and I'm still expected to put money in to microtransactions to get loot in a looter shooter, to get my grabbies and my grabby stabby.
But to be fair, though, you're most likely going to get that stuff from just playing the game with the engrams that drop, right?
I don't know, man. I've been playing a lot of Anthem lately, and I'm looking forward to playing a lot of Division when that comes out. Like, I'm playing a lot less Destiny than I used to. And part of that, the reason for that is that they're not incentivizing, they're not putting the carrot on the stick like they used to.
Mm-hmm. I hear you, but I mean,
You have a bunch of armor with different perks to go for, right?
Yeah,
you have 4 rolls to
armor. For 3.
If you play consistently, you'll get the stuff. It's kind of more for the people that maybe log in maybe once or twice, a week. But if it's like me personally, I mostly just play Crucible, and I get all that stuff. All of
And
it.
to be fair, Anthem's loot problem is way worse with the selling stuff. Like, they don't have any javelin armor at all in the game for you to earn right now.
True enough.
So-
They're adding it to the end of strongholds.
right.
Maybe. Because so far I've only heard them say emotes and vinyls.
I'd say before we jump into any kind of anthem talk, because we could definitely dovetail into our experiences in that, but like, I don't think we talked about how our impressions are of this season of the Drifter is. Like, does it look enticing? Like, Briar, you basically bring that up. Like, you're saying like the carrot isn't really there for you to want to really grind all that stuff, right?
I definitely would like the new Chroma armor. I think it looks really cool. Depending on how effective it is, I'll definitely want to get a full set of it so I light up.
Okay.
Whether or not I want to complete all the sets or all my full collection, it really depends on how effective it is and how cool not only the armor is, but how good Gambit Prime is. Ooh. Like, those two things are really hand in hand, because I got to enjoy the game mode enough that I want the armor to be good at it.
Yeah, I feel you in that.
Yeah,
I'm with Jay on like playing Gambit initially, getting the stuff, and then it kind of became like, well, I don't know if I want to play Gambit. Whenever, Gambit Prime, it definitely is interesting how they're changing that stuff up and also making it one round is more enticing for sure. But I'm excited about the stuff that they're showing. I'm excited the things that they bring in, and excited for the timeline. But I honestly don't know if basically Gambit is going to hold me for a whole season. because that's what it looks like is Gambit in the Reckoning.
I think it really
I'm looking
depends
more
on
forward to
how.
the Reckoning than Gambit, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
What were you
I
gonna say?
think it really
OneActual?
depends on like how intense those battles are, because they even said like in the video how there's gonna be like mechanics and stuff to that fight
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. Maybe not too crazy, but yeah, it's kind of like when it comes to Gambit, it's kind of like, oh, this is cool, I'm enjoying this new system, and then it kind of just it wears off.
Yeah.
I feel with Gambit. So whatever they have in store, that Reckoning event has to be like crazy cool, to keep people going. There has to be a loot table. They're like the stats have to be like worthwhile, like really worthwhile to keep people grinding. Because if they're not really make any kind of difference, then people are just gonna do it, get it, and bounce out and do other things.
Yeah, and those people, I would say, the PVE population, like hardcore PVE population, I don't think they're gonna want to grind a sweaty Gambit type of thing, like consistently, unless there is those rewards that are worth chasing after there. So that I guess that's my concern about it. I see it's like Gambit Prime Reckoning does sound cool, but again, we're gonna have to see it obviously to see how in depth it's gonna feel.
So much competition with games right now, as far as like like the Division, it coming out. It's like to grind and get stuff that kind of feels more worthwhile than this. So I'm sure Bungie knows that. They're a smart company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They know they got to knock it out of the park if they want to remain afloat during this time with Apex and all these other games out to hold their their fan base.
Yeah.
Also, there are the stuff with the 9. Previously, were going to be Xur bounties.
Right.
That's a whole new thing that has a quest
Yeah.
that turns into another quest, and for 9 weeks, you're going to be doing that and getting powerful rewards. And getting lore about the 9, which I'm actually really excited about, because Xur's obviously been in the game for a very long time. And we haven't actually learned anything about where he's from.
Yeah.
So
The cutscene of the Drifter talking to the emissary of the 9 was very exciting, right?
Pretty cool.
And then there was another cutscene with the Drifter sitting at the table with a Guardian. And then we got that little lore piece separately from all the ViDoc stuff today.
Yeah.
With a conversation between the Drifter and a Guardian, like about Prime, right? About like testing out Prime, and the Guardian showing some wishy-washy moral standing, I would say.
Well, that kind of plays into the next other quest that we have, which is the Allegiance. Where you are going to align yourself with the Vanguard or the Drifter.
Let's be honest.
There's a whole story that no one's going to align with the Vanguard.
Nobody. Not
Literally
one.
nobody.
Not one.
Your time has come, buddy. Reckoning time is here, Zavala.
We all want to be orcs, basically.
The idea
Hope, are you
behind
going to
that-
side with Zavala? Are you going to side with the Allegiance, the Vanguard in your Allegiance?
I mean, I have a really hard time siding with Zavala. I mean, I feel like Cade's death, how he reacted to that.
The whole
really-
bubble incident from the Red War.
It really left
How
an
he's
impression.
bad at it.
I really left an impression on me. So I most likely will go the Drifter way. That's
He
the
seems
Thorn
like
quest.
a solid guy, right? He's a stand-up dude. We can trust this guy.
Yeah, he's just
Yeah,
really
the
good at
Drifter.
poker.
The Drifter. I like the idea, and we've had tons of conversations on this podcast about the Dark Guardian or exploring that side. And in the lore, you talk about how Guardians slowly dip their toe in this, the dark energy of that exists in the game, and that it slowly sucks them in, and before long and it's so apropos that we are making this decision at the same time that the Thorn quest comes out. And that is a great story about how, a Guardian that was once good went bad. Right.
And his reaction when we got the last word.
Yes. So I'm definitely not going to be I'm probably going to be on the Drifter side, but mainly because that's more intriguing. Although, when push comes to shove, I'm
I
going to
have
be
to
a
be able
good
to do one on one character and the other on the other character.
Yeah, it's confirmed
guy.
already.
And if
Yeah.
it's,
There you go.
it's character based. But for me, you know, I don't have time for a second character writer, so you know, I'm picking one.
You got to
right?
make a decision for real.
It's
It looks
gonna be
like
a
they
big
have
deal.
like fleshed out some cutscenes with this stuff, right? With that
Oh, yeah.
story. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably a good thing, at least for now, that you get to experience both stories. I wonder if at one point they are going to be like, "Hey, so you have to make an actual decision now. Do you want to be
That'd
on
be so
that
good.
side?"
That'd be so interesting if they did. If they were actually forced the decision somewhere along the line.
Yeah, maybe this is
So
just
they're
a taste. This is a teaser.
They're opening up
Yes.
3 maps for during the month of March. They're opening up 3 maps for Gambit Prime, Deep Six, Legion's Folly, and Emerald Coast. On April 2nd, all the maps will be available, as well as private matches. Now, I'm really excited about that. I really, mainly because we're, you know, at a soon to be announced event that we may be creating. We're planning a Gambit tournaments, and this
That
kind
worked
of
out well.
this worked out well. And it's just exciting to jump into this and be able to put on tournaments for this, because I think there is a huge audience for it.
Mhm.
And maybe not representative on this podcast, but I think there's a lot of people that really enjoy Gambit, and Gambit Prime is going to be that competitive thing that kind of bridges that PvE player and the PvP player and puts them into roles together. I'm hoping that they knock it out of the park with Gambit Prime, and then we're really excited for April when that comes
Yeah.
around.
I hope it's really
Yeah.
fun.
I'm really curious at what Arc Week is. What is that? Didn't that come out of nowhere?
Yeah, they kind of put that in there, and I'm like,
April 9th, Arc Week.
all right.
Doesn't that sound like what they used to do in like late in Destiny 1's life, where they used to kind of like flip every week? It was like a different modifier, but that modifier was super, super strong.
Yes.
Did they do that?
It was in
Is
a
it
play
just
style.
that?
It was in,
They did Rainbow
it was in
Burns at the
Strikes
end.
though, right?
Yeah, that was in Strikes. I wonder if they're going to do it
Yeah,
to
that
where
was just strikes, but
all arc damage across the board
Mhm.
is enhanced.
like PvP,
Everywhere you go.
PvP,
raids,
Gambit, everywhere.
patrol,
Everywhere
strikes,
you go.
everything.
That'd be dope. Like does like 500% damage. That'd be amazing.
Would be funny. Oh my god, my Striker Titan.
I'm just gonna be
Um,
running around shooting Thunderlord everywhere.
That'd be pretty cool.
And then we get, after Arc Week, whatever it is, we're gonna get the Revelry.
Yeah,
It's a
this
new-
is a spring event.
Brand
Yeah, this is a new one.
spring
A
event.
new spring. We haven't seen it before. It's free to all players, so you don't have to have the season pass, and so is Arc Week.
You know what I want for that event? I want to get an Easter basket. Or maybe it doesn't
Oh,
have
yeah?
to be specifically Easter bunny, because you know
I
denominations,
want
whatever the
bunny
hell,
ears.
you know. But like, I
Yeah, the
want
Christians really like bunnies that lay eggs.
I want a basket that can be like the masterwork oven from the Dawning, because that was
Yes,
really
that
cool.
would
I
be
liked
great.
killing something and seeing like bunny droppings pop up or something. You know?
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, wouldn't it be great?
I like the thought process you're on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like-
and just you gotta run around, pick them up.
Taking rabbit pellets. Cool. I'll take some of those.
We know there's whole new armor for it, which is exciting.
Cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
They've also been doing one really powerful gun, right? For
Right.
Yeah.
one of these events. So
Mhm.
I'm
Yep.
assuming we'll get one of those as well, which would be nice.
Guys,
We
we're
know
not
nothing about it.
we're not all that far away from all this. It's the 28th of February.
Next week.
Yeah. Next
It's next
week.
week.
And this is
Next Tuesday.
Next reset. Yeah.
Yeah.
we are dipping into this, man.
Oh,
but
Tuesday.
Hold
You know,
up. There was something that
One
was
thing
very
that
big.
tampers my
Hold on, Brad. There was something that's very big that they talked about in the ViDoc, in that they listen to people playing catch up, and they're giving bounties
Yes.
that you'll be able to hit 640 or 650 within like 2 hours after doing these bounties.
Yeah, they said an
This
hour or
is
two.
huge.
Yeah. So if you are,
So you
if
just,
you
like,
haven't even
instantly
hit,
catch up.
yeah, if you haven't even hit 600 yet, they listen to that feedback and realize that people want to be able to jump into new stuff day one, which I think is great, and gave you a direct pathway to shortcut into higher light level. So that's good. Well done, Bungie.
One of the things that kind of tamped down on my excitement for the last season was that during day one, yeah, you had to like grind to be able to do the first forge, but then you did that first forge, you're like, okay, is that it for like this? Like, is that it? But at least on March 5th, we're getting Gambit Prime, which is a new game mode, and you're getting Reckoning Tier 1. So I feel like it's like a little more beefy.
Depends on how those feel, honestly.
Yeah, it really does. I
It
guess
feels like they're front loading this just a little bit more.
Mhm.
Though,
because of the reaction of people.
Yeah, people were like, this is evenly spreaded across the entire thing, and it's hard to get excited about.
Guarantee you, we're gonna hear people saying it was too easy to get access to. It just was not hard enough.
If you blow through Reckoning Tier 1,
maybe you're just good at games.
You gotta wait a
Freaking
week
get over
for Tier 2.
You're just good at games.
You're good at games. Yeah.
it.
You've gotten
They ain't
good.
never seen my RNG. I'll probably get a bunch of 640 helmets. Shit has no arms or nothing. I'm gonna stay at my light level.
I'm happy that I can bring, because I really only have one character at 650, and so my warlock and my hunter are going to be left in the dust. I really appreciate this. This is 100% for going to help me. To bring
I think I'm
them
going to bring up one of my characters that I haven't played on in a while. Just like instantly bring them up to current power level.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing.
it's a good idea.
Watts, you could make another character on PC.
I could.
And then boom, 640, like that.
Boom, 640 instantly.
Oh,
Boom.
I like this plan.
you get a Titan, and you get a Titan.
Yeah, Titans.
No Titans.
What?
Yeah, Titan. What?
Man, Season of the Drinker feels like a Hunter season to me.
Good.
Because
Always.
no, I mean the drifter is super shady and is going to steal your lunch if you're looking the wrong way. I mean, that screams warlock to me.
You make a strong point.
Thank you.
I don't know. I'm already playing Storm and Anthem. I can't do too much Warlock.
There is no warlocks in Anthem. Come on, man. This does not exist.
Yeah.
What do we want to do next? Do we want to move on to Twitter questions?
Sure.
Did we cover everything through the ViDoc? And
The TWAB.
I think that boost was a big deal. The weapons were a big deal. Anything else? Eververse changes.
We get to start the Thorn quest. Not
get to do
this
Thorn?
coming Tuesday, but the week after that.
Right.
Start it.
Mhm.
So do you think it's going to be, I hope it may be time gated, but
It might be time.
Oh man.
but we get to start it.
we can start it.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be time gated, right? The way they kind of list it there.
Yeah.
Whereas
I'm excited for Invitations of the Nine, honestly. I want to know what I'm going to get from that.
Yeah.
Get to visit the Nine. Maybe those cutscenes with the Nine. I don't know. Seems cool.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
It's gonna be a puzzle that takes everybody 14 hours to get past level 6.
It might
Well,
be.
The forgotten text string in there.
Zura's going to have some bounties. I think we talked about it in a minute, but it's good to see Zura coming back and a little bit relevant for players at Max Light.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be cool.
But
yeah.
Before we do go to Twitter questions, I would like to ask Jay, though, how you feel about the trials being postponed indefinitely. Because I know we talked about it last week, but you were a big trials player, so I'd really like to know your opinion.
Well, I mean, obviously the news, was a letdown, but at the same time, I kind of expected it. I was always kind of saying if they're going to bring back trials, it'll more than likely be in September. I was like, if they are, I just kind of figured it would be a part of like one of the big DLCs that they drop at that time. But yeah, it hurts to see. I really love trials. I know the community loves trials. I'm sure that Bungie knows that we love trials and how much that felt like a freaking punch to the stomach, in my opinion, for lack of other words. But hopefully they take the feedback and eventually just understand that, in my personal opinion, and from what I've been gathering from a lot of PvP guys, is like, just give us the Elim trials, the OG trials with a good loot table that, that allows like not only just the hardcore PvP person to want to play, but also the casual PvP person. Like, he wants the armor set, the ornament stuff or whatever, like 500 wins. Like, it's a grindy kind of trials along with it to keep people coming to it. And I'm sure they know, like, I don't know, honestly. It's like, we keep it respectful. I don't know what they're thinking. I think it was a very, very bad move. All they really did was really upset their community, especially the PvP side, because that's when I saw the a lot of people just say, you know what, I'm done with Destiny. I give up on the PvP side and focus full-fledged on Anthem, including content creators. So we'll see what the future holds.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope this Gambit thing and everything knocks it out of the park.
Do you think Gambit Prime was part of their answer to that as well? Like, if they knew Gambit Prime was coming, did they not want to cloud the situation with trials coming back over the weekends?
You know, yeah, I could definitely see that, but that's a tough one. I don't think that Gambit, even with I hope Gambit Prime is really good, and I am very optimistic about it, but I don't think Gambit Prime or Gambit at all is even the same level as far as like as trials.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
and like that, not even close, in my opinion. Even if they knock it out of the park with this, I still feel like maybe a month people are gonna be, you know, starting to head out again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, unless it keeps them around, because even with, you know, a higher tier coming out, stuff like that, I don't see it, you know, having longevity. Gambit to me doesn't really have longevity because it's kind of like once you know, oh, this boss has this mechanics, oh, this level again, oh, this is how we play it, that people are going to stop. People, it's just different because there's like a variety, you know. You don't know what this other team that you're going to face brings to the table. You don't know what guns are going to bleed the table. Are they going to sit in the back? Are they going to push me? Are they going to be sweaty as all heck? Are they going to be, you know, it's a replayability factor.
Right.
Mhm.
Interesting.
And I don't
Yeah.
see Gambit really having that, but we'll see. I mean, I hope it's awesome. I'm going to be playing it, and I want a big showdown, and I want some cool loot.
I'm really
sure.
hoping that the roles make it more replayable. Like maybe you have a full invader set and you've been invading for a while, and you're like, you know what, let me go get the collect set and see how that kind of plays out. And it actually changes the way that you play Gambit Prime.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
Yep.
But so the trials thing, like postponed indefinitely, and then just no talk about PvP at all. Like no big PvP sandbox update. It really feels like not like they're phasing PvP out, but more so that they're trying to figure out what PvP in Destiny looks like. Because it
I think
kind of
it's more
feels like they're just not happy with just, you know, when Destiny came out, Destiny 1, everyone just slapped an arena shooter on every game that they did. It was kind of just the thing that you would do is just have some PvP in your game, no matter what. And maybe they're thinking that that's not the PvP they want in Destiny. Maybe they think that they can get a more unique
Battle
experience for
Royale in
Destiny
there.
PvP.
That's right. Yeah.
No. More
God.
so like maybe world PvP where it's just, you know, you're doing PvE stuff, but then you can go gank a guy who's working on his PvE bounty.
Just doing a
Maybe
patrol,
that's something.
just scanning an area and suddenly you're shooting them. Oh my god.
Yeah, just go and then teabag him.
Oh my
Steal
god.
his loot and run
You're
away.
up there. You're out there farming the loot cave, and some asshole comes by and
Oh,
just destroys
steal
you.
all of it. Steal all of that loot.
Sea of Thieves meets wow.
You got to
okay,
go up
great.
to the helicopter and
really-
attach your engrams to the rope, and then it flies away, and you get your loot.
Wait.
But it really does feel like they're trying to figure out what PvP is. Whether that is like going towards a more open world PvP thing, or they're just like, we want to keep doing the arena thing, but we want to make unique Destiny modes for it. Because they've kept trying to like bring these PvP modes that have been in other games, but Destiny's a unique game.
Mhm.
You know, Rift was something that I personally think was great for Destiny because it was a Destiny game type.
What if in Destiny 3 they just drop PvP?
It better be good PvP with dedicated servers.
No, I'm saying they just ditched
Get
it.
rid of it.
Drop it.
But nah, I think that would really hurt it, honestly. I think it needs both. Or as a PvP guy, I believe it needs both. If it was just a PvP game, even if it was solid, I don't know, because people
I
expect
mean, we know-
loot and the looter shooter and the grind and the raids and all of that. So people would just be in shock, honestly, if they were just like Destiny 3 PvP only. Like, whoa, I would be in shock.
Briar's saying they wouldn't have PvP at all. It would just
he's saying
be
the
PvP.
opposite. He's saying, what if they
Oh,
drop?
PvE only.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, if it was PvE only.
I think honestly, I think the same thing. I mean, yeah, you'd heard a lot of people saying there's no PvP in Destiny because we have a lot of faith. I have a lot of faith in it. Of in Bungie eventually, knowing what to do and what to make with the PvP. It's just like Watts was saying. I believe they're kind of still trying to fill it out. What they want to do with it. They probably have like our voices and then the Reddit voices, and they have all these voices, and they're trying to just find something that pleases everybody, and they haven't really found that identity. But
Let me
if
make
it
an
was just a
argument real
PvP
quick.
game, then
Let me make an argument for it. Okay,
Sure.
I don't actually think they should do this. This is an argument that I don't actually believe in, but I'm going to argue it anyway.
Dude, you can't play devil's
We
advocate
know.
and then just give that
You
a
can't
disclaimer.
just take
Come on.
Pope's job. Come on, Briar.
Damn it,
We
Brian. I
fired
was just
Pope. He
about
keeps
to
coming
do
back.
that.
We know that there's far less players in PvP than there are in PvE.
yes.
Mhm.
We also know that PvP limits what they can do with guns and armor in PvE. Right? At least having those two systems so closely connected. Like you look at what PvE only looters can do with their gear, like Borderlands 3, like Diablo. Like they can just go buck wild, right? They can just go absolutely nuts, and they don't have to worry about what does this mean for the Crucible.
Mhm.
Right. So
Well, I guess my answer to that would be when it comes to Destiny, when PvP is hot, it shows. You know what I'm saying? Right now, yes, we are in a very big
PvP was hot in
run,
Destiny in a different world, man. Before battle royales, when arena shooters were still hot. Arena shooters just aren't the thing anymore.
I don't know. I personally, if Destiny 2 right now had the D1 style PvP, when in its prime,
Arguably, it does.
man.
I mean, they tried to go back to it as hard as they could in year 2, and it hasn't really caught on.
Yes and no. I mean, the game
I don't
feels
think
different,
so, man.
honestly.
It definitely feels different.
Yeah.
The game definitely feels different. It's hard to go back to like original, they brought back the old weapon system. They put shotguns out there, sniper rifles out there. I mean, sniper rifles aren't as good as they used to be. There's a lot of differences, but I mean, they tried hard to make it like Destiny 1.
I think personally, the issues that happen in this game with PvP is because of linking the loot together so heavily. And if they do, like, I wouldn't want to see PvP getting cut out of the game because it makes it unique in the way they approach it. Because it's not just tacked on; it's the Crucible. It's in the lore.
Yeah.
Like they've done a lot more than just putting an arena shooter into a loot game. It's interconnected because everything connects with that.
Sure.
But the issues is the peer-to-peer connections and the lack of ability to adjust balance in the game. Like 6 months go by, not much changes in the meta, and the fact that everything's interconnected from shooting something in patrol versus shooting somebody in the Crucible. And while it's a great merit to try to like chase and be like you want everything to feel that way, I think it ultimately hurts the game too much. And they need to split that apart in D3 and have sets of gear and weapons that are exclusive to PvP. Because in my opinion, it would be really awesome to grind PvP specifically for weapons that I use in PvP and armor that I use in PvP, and then grind PvE specifically for weapons and stuff that I use in PvE. And you get what I'm saying? Like those two worlds, they can coexist, but also be separated right there because the balance needs to be different. And I think everybody can agree, like if you're nerfing Nova Warp because of PvP, and then it's just completely in the ground for PvE, and it's like, what the hell? I mean, some people love that class, and now they can't even. It just feels like trash.
So I have a question for you guys then. What if, because we're doing what ifs. What if Destiny had like a PvE only mode, and then if you want to play PvP, here is Destiny PvP. It would be like launching a separate game entirely.
The reason that I fell in love with Destiny in the first place was I got to go out into this world and find all this cool shit and then go blow up other Guardians with it. That was the origination of my love for Destiny. It wasn't the raid. It wasn't the story. It was, here's a bunch of cool shit, and now I get to blow up other Guardians with it. And that's fucking cool.
Well, so there's another thing that they could do, and this is, again, what Guild Wars did, so I always talk about it, is they have, so you go and you get a piece of gear in PvE. You can use it in PvP, but that perk is changed slightly. So in PvE, it does this, like, say, let's use, I don't know, Dragonfly, for example. In PvE, it's this huge explosion, it just, like, explodes everything. But in PvP, it's the same, it does the same thing. It functions the exact same way. When you kill with a headshot, you still get that, but it's just not as potent as in PvE.
Watts, this is what I've been saying for like 3 fucking years. Why don't they just use, against minions of darkness perk, like descriptor on perks, like across the board? Like, where is that descriptor? Why can't that be on like every fucking major PvE gun? This thing, it has tracking mines, little spider mines against minions of darkness. They don't track you.
Wouldn't that kill what you originally just said you want a PvP to be when you jump in? Oh,
yeah,
these
but you want
spiders track.
PvP to be somewhat
the thing
balanced
is, Briar,
enough that.
Well, Briar is sucking ass at Devil's Advocate. I'm just going to say that because he started out. He got to hold the position all the way through the argument.
It's got to show you how it's done, man. Come on.
You flipped it, man.
My bad.
If you're not getting comments, you're not doing it right. All right.
You had people saying, "I agree with you, Briar," in chat. Man, what the hell? Let me take over here for a second. Look, PvP belongs nowhere near PvE. It fucks it all up. So if D3 pops it out, the game will get better. They'll be able to make it more exciting. They'll be able to do the things that we really want as a PvE game. And it really goes to making it more fanciful. You don't have to make it make sense in a confined space like a Crucible arena shooter. If people want to play arena shooters, go play CS:GO, right? Did you see how many people were watching it? I know it's not, sorry, like Halo or whatever. So my point is PvE, Destiny would flourish under PvE only.
I think it's obvious that as a looter shooter, the game is going to flourish more if you have some crazy builds and crazy loot that you could chase. But I do think the core experience of Destiny is intertwined with PvP. And
I agree.
You can't take that away. It's just forcing the connection so heavily of like, if this does massive explosions in Patrol, then it has to do these massive explosions in PvP as well. That's the issue. It causes too many inconsistencies, and then we get a boring meta. On both sides. Both sides get a boring meta.
Yeah.
So they got to cut that. I really admire the fact that they've actually achieved having all this loot and gear work in both sides. But in reality, it could be a lot better if they split them. So 2 separate things to chase, in my opinion. Or some blur area, some gray area where they can actually.
They're not gonna separate them too much. They're so reticent to make that separation because they want you to be that same guardian, that thing that Briar talked about, the same guardian in the whole Destiny universe, right? They wanted you to be able to feel like the guns feel the same everywhere you go. So I don't think and under that ethos, I don't think they're going to separate them. Given that reality, I mean, it's like you're just gonna have to cut the fat on that, like that. I've with what the evolution of where PvE is going. I think raids and dungeons and these cool PvE activities where they need to go and what they need to do to flourish and be amazing. I'd rather have Bungie working all of their energy towards that than spending it trying to balance stuff and make it make sense. It's just seems like it's splitting their energy instead of with what works and what's.
I would argue though that when they have good PvP, then they can be slower with PvE content, right? It's like if the PvP is awesome and keeping everybody engaged, and there's not as many people yelling for new PvE content or that, the forges are boring.
Isn't Gambit their answer to that? Isn't Gambit the PvE players' version of PvP?
Gambit is definitely along that line. Yeah.
PvP is not going to satisfy. Gambit is not going to satisfy hardcore PvP players. It's going to be that tether that carries the PvE player through. So,
I also man, with all these VRs and Apex just killing it with what they're doing and it being free to play, it makes it really hard to see it. If you're like a hardcore PvP player, I feel like you're going to be playing those other games also.
Yeah.
Dude,
Maybe
Apex-
the answer isn't to kill PvP. Maybe the answer is to just start balancing the game around PvE. And PvP, yeah, there's some rough edges in PvP because we made all these fucking awesome ass guns and armor that work in PvE, and some people are going to bring those into PvP, and it's going to be kind of a nightmare in there because
It doesn't work.
there's some really overpowered shit.
It doesn't work. Look at Warframe.
What if?
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Warframe has that,
What
and
if-
it's dead.
So so there's a way that you can do the separating without guns feeling different or performing different. They're just less potent. So say we do that. We separate PvE and PvP with like this perk does 10% damage with Dragonfly instead of 50%. But what you could do is use something like Iron Banner, where it's like your guns are the exact same. It's pure chaos.
Oh, interesting.
For a week in Iron Banner.
Yeah.
Power levels are enabled, which definitely speaks more to playing PvE. All of your guns are crazy like they are in PvE. And here you go. Here's your week of Iron Banner to go crazy.
Okay.
I like that.
Well, that could be a chaos mode in PvP, right? You could go in there and everything is exactly the same as PvE, right?
That's what happens when you jump into the Drifter's sack. Everything's the same.
That's true.
Yeah.
It takes wild.
No, I
damage.
mean, I guess
That's where the real PvP is.
just to take that
True.
devil's advocate's like hat off now. I mean, like the for me, the excitement of the community and being part of the community was moments where I got to see competitive gameplay being played at a really high level as a PvE player, enjoying and following teams that were grinding in PvP and top level gameplay. That's what got me excited about being part of this community. I was never playing PvP at that level, but I enjoyed watching it and being a part of it.
Right.
It speaks to the culture of this community, and I like the dynamic conversations. Some people, I'm kind of a masochist in that I like there to be arguments. I like that Breyer and I don't always see eye to eye. That Tefty and I, that Watts and I, that I've picked a fight with one
Everyone.
of you on this podcast at some point, right?
Yeah.
Does that mean we're less of a family, right? Like
Yes, it
no.
does. No.
It does mean. Watts, I had a thing going. I was like,
Sorry.
it doesn't mean I won't open end to the question. Then it does not mean we're less of a family. It means we're more of a family. We're free to that we influence and change each other. So that's how I feel.
Yes.
Very true. It's yeah, but it's just like the way Tefty pointed it out. It's like just keep the PvE and the PvP like separated, and you would have a good Destiny. I don't believe tank the PvP or bring it down a notch and just full on focus. I believe that there's two sides, both the PvE and the PvP, two big sides, very passionate sides that both want to see this game come up. And I know Bungie has the potential to do that. And I like it's just a balancing issue.
Mhm.
Keep stuff separated, and I guarantee people will flock back in this game in droves. Yes, battle royales are hot, but arenas are still hot too. Whenever the next Call of Duty and stuff comes out, people look at it. Saying whenever the next any type of arena thing, people go and look at it to see how it is.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, but look at that space right now. I mean, freaking Apex 8, Call of Duty, like what is it, the Blackout?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
BR, it ate their lunch. I mean, if you try to go find a match to go play Black Ops, Blackout, it takes time to find to launch. I don't
also
know if you guys
about
have
more
checked it out.
of the Call of Duty, like not like the battle royale version of it, but actually just like
Okay.
a little 6v6 control and search and all that kind of
Okay,
stuff.
got it.
I honestly
That
feel
man,
like
that
what
game
we're
is just yikes, so using
what
that
we're
example.
seeing right now in the BR space is a lot like what we're seeing at the beginning of the Xbox 360 days with Modern Warfare and with Halo. It's like I really feel like we're seeing the beginnings of that space evolve, and we're gonna see it, change into different things and get tighter and get better. I mean, you look at Apex compared to what we were playing 2 years ago with PUBG. It's incredibly different and much
Yeah.
in ways much better.
AAA studio like doing a BR game. It that's what we find.
Right. I mean, like, I don't think we've seen the last what BRs are going to do. And I think that Apex has proven that people who don't like BRs are like, well, this one's pretty good, though.
You know what?
know?
Because it kind of feels like an arena shooter. Like it's,
Yeah.
that's the type of games that I've been playing and really enjoying. The first person, the movement, all of that feels very familiar to someone who's really enjoyed first person arena shooters.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's just a really well balanced, feel good game.
Yeah.
If you landed with the Halo pistol, the OG Halo
The God
pistol in
pistol?
Apex, yeah, just
Those guys are still working on a Star Wars game.
That's right.
They are.
Yeah.
It's true.
Excited to see what they
Just
come
saying.
out with. Yeah.
Yeah.
One more thing about Bungie, and it's the frequency of updates. Like, if they want a thriving PvP community, same thing with PvE, but like especially for PvP, they got to make changes quicker. Just straight up.
Yeah.
It's actually something they said in the ViDoc. They said that they are progressing towards creating, I can't remember the exact words, but they were progressing towards creating a Destiny that they can update more frequently,
Yep.
Yeah, I remember.
which was very interesting.
I remember seeing that. In,
Can I start like calling them on that though?
Yeah,
Like,
I want to say this too
before?
because I feel like
Yeah.
we've heard this before Destiny 2 came out. We're like, oh, Destiny 2 is going to get updated regularly. Awesome. 6 months go by. One-Eyed Mask finally is getting a nerf next week. Cool.
Yeah.
I know.
We're listening. Let's keep the conversation going, and we'll go through like a 3-month period where they're constantly talking about stuff that's coming out, and they're having they're flying people out, and then they just go fucking dead quiet for 3 months at a time.
It's true. It's true.
I feel like
How PvP feels.
Yeah, I feel like PvP
Once a
metas
season.
need to be looked at, talked about, and updated on a monthly basis, minimum,
Yeah.
for the population
You're
to
talking
remain
about
healthy.
updates to the game, like sandbox changes.
Yeah, sandbox changes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like having weapons
Not
shift.
because I'm going to push back on that like concept of them. I don't think I think their communication has been the best in a long time.
Not
I feel
about
like-
PvP.
PvP has been pretty
Not
quiet.
about PvP.
Pretty quiet.
They have been very
They have
quiet
been-
about PvP.
They have been very
Yeah.
good about everything. PvP has been a fucking dial tone.
The only thing we've
Facts.
had is here's a Pinnacle SMG for Crucible.
Yeah.
Yay.
Oh, and One-Eyed Mask is being nerfed, but that's for everywhere, not just PvP.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like those are a lot deeper nails being driven into the coffin of PvP than another BR coming out, because people who want to play an arena shooter are going to play an arena shooter, and Destiny's PvP, if you've never played it before, is fun. Absolutely. But
It is very fun.
things get old, and if nothing changes in that meta, then people move on.
If people are complaining about Titan skating and One-Eyed Mask on PvP, and it takes that long to get addressed, then yeah,
Exactly.
it's completely reasonable to see why people just kind of end up going to the next best thing that is getting lots of updates.
Mhm.
I mean, I basically told myself I'm not playing PvP until it gets fixed, until it gets changed, because it's so fucking frustrating.
There's a lot of
It
people that
makes
do
the
that.
game not fun.
Yep.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
I feel like gamers have like a lot of the newer companies or the newer games out there updating their games so fast that like gamers just come to expect it now. It's like, well, if you want to have a live service game, this is kind of what we expect now, because Fortnite's doing it, Anthem's doing it, Apex is doing it. Like, we just expect this to happen this fast now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
And even if
understandable.
you make mistakes, it keeps things fresh if you're constantly doing it, right?
Yep.
But when you go for like super long times, it just it's so frustrating.
Yeah, it's,
Then you look at-
you can make a lot more mistakes, and you can be confident in making, like, I might make some mistakes if you change things frequently enough. Because people will be like, holy crap, this thing's really overpowered. Oh, it's kind of fun to play against. You have that time frame, that little window where people love using the overpowered thing, but then they get tired of it because it's boring and it's stale, and that's all anyone uses. Throw in
Yeah.
another update, boom, there's another thing that's good.
Exactly.
I've been playing a lot of Anthem this week, and last Friday they dropped an update to the game that severely nerfed how much loot you get in the game, like high-end masterwork loot. And within, I think, there was a weekend, Saturday and Sunday, but within like 4 days or like 2 or 3 working days, they had addressed it publicly and said a update was coming. Then a day later, they told us what the update was going to be. And then today, they put the update in the game.
It's impressive.
That's real fast.
But at the beginning of Forsaken, the response when the game would.
Here's the thing, though, Pope.
If you're comparing them, Anthem just came out.
But keep this in mind: player feedback saying this feels like it could be better, and that getting implemented within a week of it actually launching. Not like it being. There's obviously a lot of bugs and technical issues with Anthem. I'm not saying that's not the case, but in this particular instance, player feedback driven changes to the game within a week.
Okay, all right. I get you there, but I also like the fact that Destiny runs rather smoothly and doesn't have the shit that Anthem's got going on.
Totally.
No shit. Like,
yeah,
absolutely.
From what I understand
about it, too hard to get like just an acknowledgement before like a 6-month period goes up.
I think that's the biggest issue here, right? The biggest issue is that the only thing we've heard about PvP is, hey, Trials is postponed indefinitely.
Also, there's a new Pinnacle weapon.
And there's a new that's all we've heard. So I don't think anyone I haven't heard anyone from the PvP side be like, dude, give us a massive update right now, Sandbox, put it in the game. People have just said, hey, could we know what's going on? Like, what are you thinking? What feedback are you hearing? What do you think we want? What are the issues that you found with Trials? Why have you decided to postpone it indefinitely? Like, just give me something so I can understand the issues that you are currently working through. Because clearly there's like, I don't not trust Bungie. Like, I think there's a good reason why they haven't just brought it back, but I would love to know what those reasons are. Then maybe we can work together and be like, okay, Bungie, well, I really think that this actually does work. And maybe we could do this instead of what you were thinking. But having complete silence is real weird.
The PvP side of Destiny still, it seems like they have that like Steve Jobs attitude of you'll get what I tell you get and you'll like it. You know, like you don't know what you like until I give it to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
it has,
it comes
I'll be
across
honest,
that way.
It has always, from the outside, their persona to the outside has always looked like, we know what we're doing. We know what we want from PvP. So this is what we're doing.
Right.
And there hasn't been much like leeway with that. It's like, this is the PvP experience we want to make. So that's what we're doing.
I disagree with you. I think that they have done a I don't know, man. Like, how do you? I think it comes back to this. How do you make a community as diverse as Destiny's happy? And I don't think you can.
Talk to us.
Yeah, no, Watts, you're one voice. You're one voice that represents one type of player in PvP. There is just
talk to us.
No, there's just as many equal voices that are have differing opinions of yours. I'm just saying.
Is there an opinion where they're like, I don't want Bungie to talk to us about anything? Because my opinion is literally just, I just want Bungie to say, this is what we're thinking with PvP. This is why we have said that Trials is postponed. This is why we're not doing sandbox updates. This is what we're currently thinking. These are the goals we're working towards. Like, I just want them to.
Sure. Yeah. That's a reasonable request.
Like Reddit's
I'm not
like Reddit filling up with a bunch of one-eyed mask issues back in October. Sure. You know, I don't think we had any confirmation from them. They're like, "Oh, it's overperforming." Like that goes a long way from a developer saying, "Hey, you know what? This is a little too effective in PvP. We're going to be taking a look at that." You know, what? Right. And it maybe even open it up to say, "How would you like to change?" As opposed to. Right. Being like, well, I don't know. Oh, finally, it's happening 6 months later.
Yeah, getting the community involved, I feel like it would kind of give a lot more people hope, and you see a lot less of those like trolly. Oh man, screw this game, and man, this game's dumb, and why aren't you listening to us? Like, if you just at least vocal with us, like Watts was saying, it would be a bit more understanding there, you know, and just like we could get involved, and. Even though that's kind of hard to say too, because you have so many voices, not just us in the Twitch community, but like the Reddit community thinks certain way in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Same with Facebook and all that kind of stuff. You have all these voices. So I understand, that they're like, oh, what exactly we do? Maybe they're frantic, but if they just talk to us, we can see where they're at. That would definitely bring a lot of positive look at them and whatnot.
You look at Gambit. Gambit released with Forsaken, and as soon as people started getting the Queensbreaker bow. Like everybody was like, "Oh, this is kind of ruining this game mode because I just keep getting mapped by people who don't even have to aim this weapon. And now it was just last week we saw that we're going to get an update for the Queensbreaker bow.
Right.
A long time waiting.
That is a long time.
That's a long
Very long.
time. And not even like, hey, we figured it out. We're going to drop this patch today. But no, you got to wait a couple weeks further. Like, I mean, at this point, it's like a couple weeks is whatever. When you've waited 6 months for some changes on that, I think Bungie is its own worst enemy when it comes to this stuff because they make a fantastic game. We obviously love it. We play the hell out of it. But there's stagnant responses when things do come up. Really hurts. It makes the community get bitey until eventually something like Apex comes out, and then large number of PvP people are like, "Let's go play Apex instead."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like they are responsive, and they do talk to us and listen in the different places that they do, and it's it may not be feedback that we hear or we want to hear, the direction we want to go, but it does represent in a vision they have for the game. And you're right. If it's not the game that we want to play, then we should go play another game, right? And I've stopped playing PvP, and I went and started playing Apex. I love it. I still enjoy PvE, and that's the feedback I've given them. That, you know, as a casual PvP player, I'm not enjoying this, and these are the reasons why. And then if they don't change, if they don't make a game that I'm wanting to play, then I'm leaving, right? I'm going and playing another game. But right now, I'm really excited with what they're doing with the part of the game that I really enjoy playing, right? And so for me, it resonates not like you guys, not like you Watts, like you're talking about. I can hear your frustration, but to me, that frustration doesn't resonate with me. I feel like they are creating a game that I really enjoy playing in a way that I get to play it.
I'm not saying that I'm not enjoying. I'm really excited for Jokers Wild. I'm just saying that they had a podcast where they would speak to us. They were talking to us a lot on Twitter. And then they go through this point with like, oh yeah, this is so good. Please keep doing this. And people are literally saying, please keep talking to us, because they were afraid it was going to stop again. And it stopped.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to start it up again. Because if you just keep it open and honest the entire time, people know that if you say, look, we found this bug, it's really freaking hard to deal with it, but we found it, we are looking at it, we are actively working on fixing it, then you at least know that they are what they're doing.
Yeah.
At this point, I just have no idea what they're thinking about PvP, no idea what they're thinking about trials. I just have no idea.
Yeah.
I was just like, an idea. It's like one idea.
Well, I appreciate you guys like sharing. I mean, this is the conversations that I like to hear. I mean, we want to be able to, I think we represent a split part of the community that has this, we are the Hydra that is this community, right?
Mm-hmm.
And imagine being the Bungie and having to hear and respond to so many different opinions.
Yeah.
But to see the mess that some developers get into by constantly listening, like they're constantly reacting, knee-jerk reactions to their community, the loudest voices in their community, and seeing how they screw up their game, and whether it's through breaking it or through making things that make the game worse and impossible to play. I feel that knee-jerk reaction can't be what a developer does, because of the amount of time and money that does go into making these changes. And at a certain point, you as a developer, if you constantly listening to every, voice, you're just chasing your tail around instead of making something new and innovative and direction.
So that's what it is, Pope. The impression that I get, like if I apply, read through the messaging, read between the lines, I hear them working on Destiny 3 and not considering D2 like a long live service game.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the messaging that I get as a fan. Like, oh, I see. You guys are working on the future of the franchise, not the future of this game specifically. I mean, obviously changes are coming to this game and new things are coming. Obviously got some exciting stuff coming, but when it comes to the PvP side of that, they're working on the future of potentially D3 or Destiny Online.
Same impression I get.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's great that we have that we have a podcast to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And hopefully they're listening.
Whoa.
So-
You guys want to do some Twitter questions?
We've been live for almost 2.5 hours.
Oh, Jesus.
Brian, got to pick some good ones.
We need some juicy
There
questions,
was
Briar.
so many good questions this year.
Oh,
I told you guys before the
rapid fire
show.
some. Rapid fire.
We
All right, rapid fire.
Maybe
Rapid
we can
fire.
go
Rapid fire.
slightly longer.
And then we'll
Keith
slow
says-
down. Okay.
2-part question. A, how long before the community is sick of the Thorn meta? And B, how long will it take Bungie to nerf Thorn? 2
whole
weeks
season.
and 6 months.
1 month. A year.
Damn.
Jordan says, okay, so idea for Trials of the Nine. What about 3v3v3 elimination game mode? Not a new idea,
Yes.
Jordan. We've been talking about that for about 3 years.
Yes.
3v3v3v3?
3v3.
Wait, 9 people or 12
Wait,
people
yeah,
total?
9.
Oh, 9. Oh,
Because
I don't know what
Trials
that
of the
looked
Nine.
that was from Halo back in the Halo days.
Multi-team battle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
multi-team.
so it's a game of who can third party the last team best.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what Trials should be, but I would welcome it as a game mode. I think Bungie needs to start throwing some more game modes at Destiny.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like they just keep taking stuff away.
like,
Yeah, that rotating Crucible Lab thing kind of fizzled.
yeah, the Spark was really fun, man. Like getting it and dunking it and all that, and then they just took it away in D2. I'm like, that's a game mode they could bring back for PvP.
Bring back Rift, dude. Just call it freaking Sparky Spark.
Yeah,
I think all the
Spark.
stuff they've taken away. Yeah, the Rift was fun. Trials of the Nine was fun. Faction rallies, sometimes they were fun. You know, they've taken away a lot of stuff.
Well,
It's a
Level
Evolved.
19.
we have been harsh as a community, but still.
I think every gamer community is harsh.
I mean, let's
Level 19 CPU says, with the new roles in Gambit Prime, do you think Bungie should have restricted people to select a role before queuing up before a match starts to prevent scenarios where all 4 are invaders?
They
That
literally
would be
talk.
awesome.
They literally talk about that though, about how like, oh shit,
Yeah.
the enemy team has 4 invaders. Oh man.
Yeah.
yeah, they're not going to restrict that.
Yeah, do you guys?
No, but I think it would be cool if you could queue up as like your primary role and then like your secondary role, and then they could match you based on that. It would be cool.
Do you think that would be cool if they did that? But
You guys,
I feel like 80%,
Almost
of
like
Gambit
a game
Prime
where-
population is going to be invaders.
Yeah. It's all going to be invaders.
Like 80%
I'm
is going to
probably
be
not
people
going to be invader.
in
It depends
red.
on the perks, right? It depends on the perks for everything.
I think
needs
just
to
the
be
color
real
red is
tasty.
enough. Look at that orbit. They've been fucking killing it from day one just because they got the coolest colors.
I'm gonna be pink though, or purple. There's one where you could be a light pink, a slightly darker pink, or purple. So
Yeah, the green one might be pretty good. Look at Razer. I think they built like a whole brand off of
And
black
Nvidia.
green.
Yep.
Nvidia. Yep.
Razer built an entire brand off RGB.
Yeah.
Sure.
Insanity 1K says the community don't seem to like competitive modes, with Season of the Drifter being center focus on competitive. I can't read this. There's no commas. It's not even like a sentence. Sourdough Outlook says if modes like Trials, Pinnacle PvP, and Raids, Pinnacle PvE, have high Twitch engagements but lower player engagement, do you see Gambit Prime, Pinnacle PvE, VP as trying to retain live stream relevancy? Is the amount of weight given to live views as a metric by studios concerning?
I don't.
that was all one tweet.
I honestly don't think Bungie caters to what's going to be good on Twitch.
If they did, they would have
Yeah.
made Trials the DLC.
Yeah.
And it would have been
Exactly.
like, screw PvE
Yep.
players. We're freaking going Trials all day.
Exactly.
They'll literally just, no.
I mean, it's definitely important to have that's
It's, yeah.
a big marketing
Good.
thing. Is having your game at the top of a Twitch directory.
Yeah, it's
big.
It's definitely a big thing, but I don't think Bungie are making stuff for that.
Yeah, they're not developing for that in mind.
Destiny 3 free to play.
At least then I wouldn't be so pissed off about microtransactions.
You would still be pissed off. Let's be real. Bro.
You're right. Dredger Below says, okay, so Allegiance quest lines look like it starts with the Thorn quest.
Hmm.
Here's some Spinfoil hat spin foil to make a hat with. Do you think we could see a quest line to get Thorn or the? Come on, guys, comments, man. You know how hard this shit is to read.
Punctuation. It makes it readable. Jesus.
Grammar.
Do you think we could see a quest line to get Thorn or the Rose by either corrupting or cleansing the hand cannon based on our allegiance?
That would be
No,
awesome.
I think we're getting Thorn.
And I would have to make a second character so I could get both.
Yeah, but we're getting
Fortunately,
Thorn.
you can, because it's easy to level up with the new bounties.
Hell yeah.
Simon 1 says, in the ViDoc, the emissary of the Nine called the Drifter Dredgen before he corrected.
He's not dredging your.
Do you think this is just related to a title, like we can earn enough triumphs, or is he actually dredging your?
He's not dredging your. Dredging your is dead. He's deader than dead. He's not he's gone.
He's dredging your. That's some Kaiser Sose shit you're on, man. That's exactly the kind of shit that dredging your wants you to believe.
Facts.
You're just feeding it.
Hold up.
Sheeple. Get woke.
Rolling back to the Alliance versus Dredgen type of discussion. Like, are you going dark side or light side? What if they were working on some sort of PvE patrol type of thing, and those who picked the Alliance are against those who picked Dredgen?
The Horde.
Or the Horde, yeah.
I love it.
Sorry.
It's going to be like 2 against like 1,000,000. Then.
What if that's the
it's gonna be a lot of
because if you have 3, like it's tough to balance like how they're going to have the population with 3 on a map. But if you have a clear, and it's also character based, so you could like swap between those characters, you know.
There's going to be 3 dudes who went with the Vanguard who are like, this is the best, man. I get in games like this. And there's going to be 1,000,000 other people saying, I can't find a game in this game mode to save my life.
That was a legitimate problem in World of Warcraft on servers where the population was heavily skewed to one side. Like,
would it be Alliance
as an
or
Alliance player, take like 3 minutes to find a Warsong Gulch match. This is awesome. On Horde, it's like I have been in queue for 3 hours.
yeah.
Interesting.
I forgot what they did with Aeon. They did something where if there were more of the light side players on than the dark side ones, they would do something. I can't remember what they did though.
Couldn't they just like cosmetically change you and not let you know that
in
you're
World of
playing
Warcraft,
on the other side?
In World of Warcraft, that's basically what happened. You would just be on the Alliance side. If you were like, if the population was skewed, they're like, dude, you just want to play, right? Just get the fuck in there. Who cares?
I know they did one thing where they stopped people from making the dark side for a while. They're like, you can only make a light side character right now, okay? Because there's too many of the dark boys around here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I remember in
what?
I remember in Final Fantasy 14 they had a thing because there was 3 factions over there, and one side, I believe it was Uldar or Maelstrom, I can't remember the names, was really overpopulated. So they implemented a fix where they would just kind of randomly kind of throw you on, some of you, you got yours, but there's not much in the queue right now, so you're going to be this faction for this game and that faction for that game.
Interesting.
It kept the population going. I didn't see anybody complaining about
they
it.
could do that and you wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
It's not like
you wouldn't know,
2 teams have different abilities,
Yep.
Yeah.
Paul Pisagno says, is everyone equally upset as I am that Dave Samuels was not in the ViDoc? Like, what the heck, man? This man got his own emote. I think the community would love to see him again.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know, man. Every time that guy, like, when he is seen by the community, it brings joy to children's hearts. Like, it just increases the overall joy in the world, and children are happier. To me, Bungie, do you like children? Put Dave Samuels back in the ViDoc. What the fuck?
Well,
why do you hate children?
I think we need to go back to the origin of this. He's on when we're talking about supers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
all Bungie needs to do is add more
about
supers in.
Gambit Prime?
Yeah.
Or how about
shooting weapons? Like anything that guy talks about is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I have an idea. Bungie. Okay. If the community's mad about PvP stuff, make Dave Samuels give the update, but have lots of sound
the patch notes.
So I heard you want to be like pew pew pew, but we want you to be more like zip, zip.
Yes.
People will be like, I love this guy. I'm happy.
That
And
man
there
is
was
too
peace
kind
on
of a
Earth.
soul to put that like fury of the community in front of. That is
comment.
just like that is just putting someone up on a pyre in the town center and
He will
burning them.
calm everybody. No one will ever get mad at Dave Samuels.
It's physically impossible.
Have
to
you
do.
met
impossible.
gamers once?
Yeah, they love Dave Samuels.
Yeah.
Universally?
Call of Duty Ghosts had something like that. It was like a Snoop Dogg voice pack. They just had voice
That's
packs
right.
so wherever you
And it was
played.
amazing.
I loved it. Trinity rocket
Yeah.
in your back pocket. And I was like, oh shoot.
Yeah, that was.
I want to go
was-
back and
that
play
was
that
my
game right
favorite.
now just to get that.
I'd love that.
Real Good Murph says, do you think everyone is going to be hunted Vader gear set? I do.
No.
No.
Well, maybe the you know,
I don't
Everybody
care
the
but Watts
normies.
because he wants
The
pink.
normies. The normies.
The normies.
The normies will be.
I think the people
Those dead
that want to
orbit
get
normies.
sweaty on Gambit Prime are going to be hunting the Invader set.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be the collector and dropping those like fatty boys on the other side.
Prime fatty.
Prime fatty. Yeah. What if that's what it's called?
Snoop Dogg with a Gambit voice pack. Fat. No.
What was that?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was about to get inappropriate.
Like, oh, you invading? Oh, for sure. I'd be jumping to that every single time just to hear Snoop say something.
Yeah, dude. You imagine the call outs when you go across, instead of you killed 3, you killed the whole team. Done.
Oh, yeah, Pope should not do this impression.
Hey, A for effort, Pope. I like it.
No,
I like it.
no, I had to catch myself, man. I'm all right.
Oh, man.
Aziel Alvarado, thank you for the question. We just answered it in an hour-long conversation. The Guardian 777 says, I've never understood the argument of why Pinnacle guns need to be representative of a PvP lover's real identity. I get that it makes it less likely to be desired. Why is it bad to have a Pinnacle weapon that lands outside the typical meta but is still competitive?
If it's competitive, I think that's great. If you can introduce a Pinnacle PvP weapon that severely switches up what people are using, especially if this SMG is amazing, people won't be using Lunar and Not Forgotten. But it has to be as good as those weapons, or people won't use it.
Scary.
It's got to be good. It's got to be really good. I don't think there's any problem in introducing a weapon that's, outside the meta that's really good. The only problem is that it has to be really good to actually switch things up. Or
Every shotgun warrior is going to be sliding in with their shotgun, blasting a couple fools, switching to that SMG, and firing off a bunch of other small fools. And it's going to be just crazy mayhem. They're going to see clips, clip that.
I think that really depends on that submachine gun roll, because who's really gonna go into the Crucible with a shotgun sub loadout? It really depends on the range too, not just the damage buff. But okay, after I shotgun this guy's got some range on me with a submachine gun. Am I gonna be having damage fall off issues because I went with a all out close push setup? Or what?
I don't know. They can have pretty good range. I still have my Hero's Burden from the original Iron Banner in year 1, and that thing it surprises people with how much range it has.
I hear that.
If it has good range and is stable, and then it has that kill potential, it could be good. Dayman says, do you think Bungie should bring Trials back for Destiny 1 since they are further delaying it for Destiny 2?
So the issue is that they'd have to spend a bunch of resources and assets and money to actually port it over to the D2 engine. And reality is they're probably working on D3 stuff.
So they're just saying activate it on D1 so we can go play Trials there.
Oh, my
How
bad.
would that make them money?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
you have
Yeah.
to buy your pass into Trials every time with real money.
The microtransaction into Trials.
To get your Trials card, it's
Trial
$1.
pass.
It's $1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
$1 every Trials.
The population is
$1.
way moved on T1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but what if they all go back, man? They'll all go back. All the PvP players, they'll go back and leave
And
Apex
then-
and they'll go
and then
to
they'll
D1.
realize that there's sticky nades and Warlock melee, and they'll be like,
But it was so rosy and green and everything was perfect over there.
it was when it came out, yeah.
Hmm.
But Destiny 1 was left. I was really sad when I found out there wasn't going to be another sandbox update because they left it in quite a spot.
Wormwoods and stickies.
Wormwood,
Icebreaker.
Oh, I remember
icebreaker.
those. Oh, love that.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
2018 Fantasy Football World Champ says, I wonder if he actually won the World Champ.
Maybe.
I know cross save is probably easier to do, but do you think they should focus on cross play instead? Increase the player base for PvE across the board and make it opt in for PvP from console to PC.
I mean, if they had it, it would be good, right? It's not.
Nothing would make me happier.
I can't even picture that right now, and just how different PC is to the console side. Like if we just
for
meshed them both
PvE,
together.
right?
But PvE, like playing PvE, it doesn't really matter. You get to play together, and it's fun.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. That'd be pretty cool. Actually, yeah, that'd be really cool.
I was disappointed that Anthem didn't ship with it. Yeah. They've talked about bringing it, but
yeah,
talk is cheap.
Talk is cheap.
Taco says that's why we don't get paid for the show. Taco says, is anyone else worried about Bungie dropping PC support after the season pass ends?
no,
No?
not even remotely.
Honestly, it's you just carry on.
Sam says, if you could bring a weapon/pet Pokemon count from any game into Destiny, what pet would you bring?
Did you say weapon or pet?
I'm going to just restrict it to pets because I think it's more interesting.
A pet?
Mm-hmm.
In World of Warcraft, I have a Cinder Kitty. It's a little kitten that's also on it's made of fire, so it's adorable and it's
Aptly
even
named.
warmer than a normal kitty.
Because it's on fire.
Too hot, maybe?
Yeah, it's burn your,
It's
burn
always
your
on
lap.
fire.
It doesn't sound like a cuddle experience.
Yeah, it sounds like a
it
fire
sounds-
hazard.
It looks cute.
Fire alarms going on
I'll wear
everywhere
asbestos
you go.
clothing.
I'm gonna bring the Resident Evil liquor, but as my pet.
Oh, good choice. I'm bringing Mr. X.
man.
I call Mr. X.
As your pet.
Yes.
Mr. Peck. Mr. Peck.
Have you
Mr.
seen the
Pex.
Mr. Sex mod for Resident Evil?
No.
It's worth checking out. Worth checking out.
I want Yoshi.
Yoshi's a great one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'd like to have Yoshi just riding around the open plains in Destiny, just gobbling up, falling and shooting out fireballs
With that sound effect. Boing.
What was the name of the dragon from Neverending Story?
Is it a dragon?
Yeah, that big white
Was
fluffy
it-
dragon.
You mean the dog?
Yeah. It's
no,
a
the
dog.
dragon.
It's not a dragon.
It was a
Is it?
dragon.
Wasn't a dragon?
Neverending Story.
Yeah.
Looking this up. You guys
It's
are
not.
crazy.
Falcor?
Can I pick one from an anime too? Yes, I can. I want Philo from the Shield Hero.
Philo is such a diva though.
But she's pretty
Falcor.
powerful.
His name is Falcor, and he's a
Super-
dragon.
But she's
Falcor was
she's
the,
pretty strong.
the horse.
And she can
She's
be a bird
really
and
strong.
a
She's
girl.
OP, but she demands so much attention.
That's fine. I give
Oh,
lots of
God.
attention.
Oh.
She will love me.
Jay, what you got? What's your
I
pet?
picked all the good ones. Yeah, I got Mr. X and Yoshi, man. Dang. I would have to probably go with spot here. I don't know, man. I think I just like to just take Charizard or something. We'll just go with the OG fire Pokemon, man.
How
That's
big is
good.
Charizard? Like in humans terms?
Taller than you.
Human cubits?
Yeah, like in cubits.
2
17 cubits. Not
Two
helpful.
briars. 2 briars.
2 briars. He's that big.
Is this a full grown Charizard? Is
How
this-
do they fit him in that little Pokeball?
It's
Technology.
It's
Magic.
technically animal cruelty.
That's
just
why
thinking
PETA
it's
has a
fake
game
bullshit.
that's gotta release them all.
It's
Release them all.
You're putting your pets in really small cages. Do they really have a game called Release Them All?
Honestly, I think PETA are like the biggest trolls ever. I feel like they're just
They're
trolls.
secretly just 4chan.
They're just trolls. I'm pretty
It
sure.
was founded by the same people who founded Fortran.
Atlas NYC says, now this is only a guess, but everyone on the podcast is sending their hunter down the path of darkness, aren't y'all?
I'm
I'm
actually.
already- I'm
I
already
didn't
here.
answer. I'm actually gonna put my hunter on the Vanguard path because I feel like that's the path.
Because then you can become the new Hunter Vanguard.
Yes, and also, man, like, look, can we have a real talk for a second? Like, Zavala is suffering from some severe PTSD. He lost his best friend. He failed the city. Like, it's completely understandable.
Didn't Mara totally dump him?
Huh?
What? I think it's Shax.
No, Shax. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Shax. My bad.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't get involved in this drama.
The incest.
Maybe Mara
do all
did
Titans
have a
look the same to you,
Zavala.
Pope?
I mean, I don't know. Lady Aphrodite's out there single. I mean,
is she?
I honestly don't know what my allegiances are going to be with my characters yet.
Yeah. Need to find out need to see what the story's like. Until then, does Drift seem like the kind of guy I want on my side, or do I want to fight him?
Hell yeah, man! He sounds like a hell of a lot more fun to hang around with. Zavala.
But Core is awesome.
Well, I mean, why do you think Cade hung around in the hangar? Like, he knew that. So
I'm gonna definitely put my Titan in there just so my Titan can be the one who stabs the Drifter in the back.
Whoa!
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
Sounds like kind of.
He calls me sister though, so I might have to go with Drifter.
He called my ghost dumb and threatened us at the end of a strike. Mother effer is gonna die.
That makes me want to side with him more.
He said your ghost was the scariest thing he ever did saw.
He insulted me, and I will not forget it.
Well, he insulted your ghost. It's not the same as you.
He is the same. My ghost and I are BFFs.
Pontius says, is it true that the Traveler just copied Mario, Luigi's, and Princess Peach's jumps from Super Mario Bros. 2 when he created the Hunter, Titan, and Warlock jump ability?
Yes.
I believe that is canon.
Yes. That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's
He
yours.
looked to our histories past to know what are the best jumping methods that these people will understand. Okay. Thank you, Nintendo.
Actually, it makes a lot
If
of
we
sense.
ever get
Hold up.
a
This
fourth
makes a lot of
class, then
sense,
it's going to
guys.
be Toad.
All warlocks are essentially princesses, so this makes perfect sense.
They wear dresses and everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
You can wear a dress if you're not a princess. It's fine.
True enough.
That's not.
I mean, all warlocks,
But it makes
act
me
like
feel more
princesses.
like a princess when I do it.
If I want to call myself princess, I will. Thank you.
K Brash says, Season of Opulence, what do you think it'll include?
I saw a Leviathan
Very-
armor and I saw a Leviathan looking area. So, Callus.
I think they turned parts of the ship into a big open space, like a big.
Grapes.
Oh,
Ooh,
like
that'd
we
be
can,
cool.
we can
Like a patrol zone on the
patrol
ship.
zone on the
Yeah, the
Oh,
ship becomes a patrol zone, like a
That would
part
be
of
But
it.
we're not going to
Big
fight
ass-
anybody, right? We're just going to cruise around, and instead of Sparrows, we're going to have like stretch limos and just like hang out with Callus.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
we're going to have done this whole season of the Drifter thing.
margaritas.
Explored our
Right.
bad side a little bit and said, you know what, this Callus guy actually had some good points, and I'm kind of into this whole like hanging out with this dude thing. He's got some
He's talking some sense.
real good things going on.
I want
Yeah.
some drinks in the bath. The bathhouse. I
Mhm.
want you to be able to go there, chill.
Right. Well, you
Have
can't
some
get in.
drinks.
Tattoos aren't allowed in the.
Yeah. Sorry,
Oh,
man.
no, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
but
Holtz will be allowed.
Patrick can go in for me
Yeah.
and
There
then
you
tell
go.
me what it's like.
I want our dialogue, if we do have dialogue with Callus, to be different based on whether or not we're Vanguard or Dredgen. That'd be cool.
You're like, I see you like switching sides. Do you want to come
Yeah.
over and be my
How
friend?
about these bounties, huh?
I do like the idea that he's coming back, though. I like
You
this
got
idea
like
of
Daddy
having,
Warbucks for him or something.
I like this
Sorry.
idea of having characters that come back. Like we don't just kill them right away.
Yeah.
Like we have longer stories with bad guys. We actually get to explore like some of the motivations of a bad
I like
guy.
that much
think that's-
more. Yeah.
Like what
Yeah.
Holtz was talking about with WoW, right? The
Yeah.
bad guy is there for like a whole year, where he evolves
Sometimes longer.
or longer. Yeah.
Sometimes longer. Sometimes you get to see them turn into the bad guy over the course of like fucking 6 years.
Ooh.
It reminds me of I just finished. I know it's behind the times.
Reminds
but
me of Holtz.
I just finished watching Breaking Bad, and to see the main character's
Spoilers?
progression.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Spoiler.
Good
Sorry,
arc.
sorry.
Good
No
arc,
spoilers.
yes.
Yeah. Good art.
Takarito says, "Do y'all believe in the 10,000 hour rule? You You guys know what the 10,000 hour rule is?
To master,
perfection?
master something.
You can't achieve mastery until you do it like either 10,000 times or 10,000 hours.
Yeah. You guys believe in it?
Well, I'm master. I've never mind. I'm not going to list the things that I've mastered.
You were going to talk about masturbation, weren't you?
I was not going to master that conversation.
Dang, 10,000, huh?
Would you be Tufty? Would you 10,000 hours there? 10,000 times?
I don't know. I don't honestly. I haven't kept track. You know, I don't have a board next to wherever. You know.
No counter.
I think
I don't actually believe in this. I think it's kind of a fun idea to think about, like putting 10,000 hours into it to become a master of it. But I think there's more factors at play. Like some people are just going to be naturally gifted at certain things. Like, you know, some people could put 10,000 hours into playing baseball. They're never going to master baseball, but other people, you know, are just going to be, you know, gifted athletes and be able to do something like that. I think the same thing is true with, you know, other things. I put 3,000 hours into Destiny 1, and after about 1,000 hours, I feel like my skill level had pretty much plateaued. Admittedly, I wasn't practicing to get better. I was just playing the game for enjoyment. But I don't believe that it's just a 10,000 hour hard rule kind of thing. I don't think that really adds up in real life.
I think a lot of it comes down to where you're mentally at the time, and if you are actually aspiring to get better at something, then like the 10,000 hours, it's a saying, obviously, but there is a journey ahead of you, and you have to walk that journey in order to get to that point where you feel like you've mastered something. But if you're mentally not pointed in that direction, you can take 10,000 hours and walk in a circle. You're not getting anywhere. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Deep conversation.
Well, I'm going to fix that right here. Mr. Jeff says, which one is an acceptable condiment or dip to have with nacho cheese Doritos? So nacho cheese Doritos are your dipping instrument. You have a choice of salsa,
Air.
cheese sauce. Did you just say hair?
I said air.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Salsa,
Hair.
cheese sauce, ranch dip, or guacamole
With a Dorito chip?
with a Dorito chip. I don't think I've ever dipped a Dorito chip in.
It's already like
I have
packed full
not.
of flavor.
That's the point of having a pre-flavored chip.
That's exactly. People had this argument on Twitter, and I just couldn't even understand why people were saying that. The concept of a Doritos chip is for lazy asses out there who couldn't take a tortilla chip and dip it in something. So
Sometimes dipping is inconvenient. Maybe I'm driving, or maybe
so there's all these reasons why you're too lazy to take can of dip and chip and put it in, right? So they said, we've got all these people that are lazy. What we're going to do, brilliant, is we're going to take all the dip and we're going to put it on the chip for them, and we'll charge them more for it.
Right.
Brilliant. So then you're going to take, it's like chip inception. You can't take, it doesn't make sense. It's just.
That being said, though, I've never dipped a Dorito in guacamole, but I bet it'd be delicious.
It is. I've used Doritos before because we just didn't have anything else. It's fine. They're tortilla
I
chips.
bet that would be delicious.
Now go with guac.
I'm sorry, Doritos are not tortilla chips. They're a bastardization of whatever people put in their bodies.
Dude, you're telling me right now none of you guys have had them Dorito chips with sour cream?
I've never had.
No.
Never dipped it with sour
Yeah.
cream.
Oh
that's good,
my
dude.
god.
That sounds good, though.
Y'all
Anything
need,
that's
y'all need to do it. Come on, chat, back me up.
No,
that's like the
Like the guac,
opposite
though.
flavor. I can see that,
Dude,
man. Because like
so
if
good.
you
I
say
don't know, Jay.
dip your nacho cheese Doritos into nacho cheese, I'm like, that's fucking disgusting. That's just too much nacho.
Yeah,
But
it's a little
sour
too cheesy.
cream, that's like a cooling flavor. I can see that being okay.
Doritos and sour cream might taste like pumpkin pie, but I'd never know because I'd never tried
No,
it.
it's nothing like
Now I'm
pumpkin
just
pie,
thinking about
bro.
a pumpkin latte.
Delicious. You gotta do it.
Can't do
Gotta
it.
do it.
People tried to make me eat Taco Bell. It didn't work.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
did. You
never
ate
mind.
Taco
It
Bell.
worked.
You
You ate
fucking love it.
Yeah,
you know
you
you
ate
did.
Can't do it.
Multiple times,
Yeah.
actually.
I was
You
forced to.
you came back for seconds.
Only because it was stuck to my beard.
Atlas Gaming says, this is for everyone. Name one song that now there was a time where you didn't want anyone to know that you loved it and you listened to
Hold
it.
up. You need to repeat that because you cut out.
Cut out.
Okay. This is for everyone. Name one song that even if you don't feel this way now, there was a time where you didn't want anyone to know that you loved it and listened to it.
What was the Spice Girls hit?
It was
Hit Me, Baby,
Wannabe,
One More
and it's
Time.
my answer as well.
That's the one. Yeah.
When that song was popular, I definitely didn't want anybody to know that I liked the song, but I did like the song.
I felt the same way too, honestly. I didn't want people to know that
It's catchy as hell, right?
I was jamming out to that.
Man, the other day I was blasting Justin Bieber. It was one of Justin Bieber's songs.
You disgusting.
And I was like, dude, this is good. And then I got to an intersection and I turned it down because I didn't want anybody to hear that I was listening to it.
You know, the answer is Baby Shark.
Ooh,
dude.
My
Baby
daughter
Shark.
loves that song.
It's a catchy song.
Nickelback.
Aaron says, if Pope Bear is on tonight, I'm a student teaching in California, so I wanted to know what is some advice you can give to new teachers. And Pope Bear, you know what? I'm going to actually take this one.
Okay. It's directly for me, but you go. Some advice for teachers, new teachers. I guess the ultimate thing is if you have this one question in your mind with every problem you run into, every decision you have to make in your career, or every curriculum that you're developing, or every discipline issue you run into, if you put in your mind what is best for that student first, the answer is going to come naturally. If you're a parent, if your child was in that classroom, was your student, how would you want them to be treated or worked with? It's the empathy, the connecting with the student that is ultimately what's going to drive you.
Good answer. I would
It's a
apply that to almost every relationship, actually.
it's a 10,000 hour answer right there.
Fitted Pirate 51 says, what apocalyptic situation would you be most likely to survive? A zombie apocalypse, World War III, AI robots take over, or a crawdad mutant overlord uprising?
Wait. Before we answer this, do we have Briar Rabbit with us, and are we allowed to eat him?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Fire
can eat
snack
him.
buddy.
Okay.
The answer
Yes.
is we eat Briar.
Okay. So what are the options again?
Zombie apocalypse,
Mm-hmm.
World War
Okay.
III, AI robots take over, and crawdad mutant overlord uprising.
Ooh. I'm taking zombie apocalypse because if I have Briar with me, I know I'm outrunning him. Boom, I survive.
That was just rude.
That's just one instance, though. What happens on like hour number 2 of the zombie apocalypse?
And we eat him.
I don't know, man.
They already ate me.
That far. I haven't thought that far.
He's a zombie
you again.
at that point.
We eat zombie Briar.
But
Yeah.
then he's not faster than me, so I'm not worried about it. I just stay. I make sure I'm limber. You know, I know the rules. It's limber up,
Stretch up.
right?
Yeah.
Stretch, and then always double tap. So one to the body, one to the head.
I am definitely going with zombie apocalypse, and I'm getting as far away from these fuckers as possible, as quickly as possible. I'm going lone wolf.
See, I'm thinking.
I don't know what
All the rest of them are much more dangerous.
See,
though.
but the
Why
thing is,
don't
when you
these
say
people build
survive,
houses in the middle of lakes, I don't understand that. Just take a boat in the middle of the lake, like a houseboat. Why?
'Cause the zombies walk on the bottom of the lake up to the.
Yeah, but they
Oh, like
can't
pirates.
get to the boat.
They walk right to your.
Eventually, you have
Alan,
to leave the
you got to
boat.
build like a house in the sky Minecraft style, so they can't climb. it. Yeah.
A tree house.
Yeah.
Very
We'll
smart.
just build a tree house. They can't climb trees.
Yeah.
I mean, crawdad mutant overlord sounds smart and dangerous. AI robots obviously smart and dangerous. World War III is just random chance.
Awful.
See, yeah.
I feel like zombie apocalypse. At least they're dangerous but smart.
But here's the question: is survive. So like you have to survive the zombies for how long? I feel like a zombie apocalypse is going to be forever. Yeah.
Good point.
World War III,
I think
the place might not be here anymore, or it might get resolved. AI robots, I feel like we're definitely screwed because they're going to solve all possibilities of us solving our situation. So we're done for.
Yeah.
And Crawdad Overlord is the biggest wild card because what if Crawdad
you
Overlord
can't.
is straight up chill as hell after a while? Be like, you know what? It's fine.
And like it turns out not to be that bad. You're like, yeah, best interest in heart.
Yeah.
Crawfish Mutant
It
Overlord.
doesn't say
really
evil
easy.
crawdad mutant overlord. It just says crawdad mutant overlord.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really easy to solve that. By the way, you just move to a colder climate. They're cold-blooded creatures. They'll go to sleep.
Mm.
But they're a mutant overlord, meaning they came from space, so they solved those issues. But maybe they're floating up and being like, how about some technology to help your poor ways of
You make
farming?
great points. How about one last question, because we're basically at 3 hours and it's going to be a bitch to actually upload.
All right. Hugo Rune says, okay, you're all playing poker against each other, against the Drifter.
We eat
Question
Briar.
is, which of you is most likely to A, bet it all on the first hand and lose, 2, have one too many drinks and end up getting thrown out by the doorman,
That's Brian.
Definitely Briar.
C, get through to the final hand and bluff their way to victory, 4, get through to the final by taking all the small pots, and finally G, distract the Drifter in some cunning fashion, stealing all the chips and hightailing it out of the casino, leaving only a comet trail of chips behind them.
That sounds like the one I'm doing.
I have this visor, so I can just poker face it. I'm going with whatever answer that was.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Jay on that too. Let's be poker buddies.
I'm going to go with bet everything on the first one and hope I just win because I fucking hate poker. So
you're bet it all on the first hand and lose.
yeah.
I'm gonna play that mother trucker like a fiddle and splash the pot any way I want.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in to the 120.
125.
125
125.
Big boy podcast.
episode. Yeah.
This is a fun one.
Hold
long
on.
one.
Kill 'em all just said in chat, am I the only one afraid a DCP night of drinking is going to end with Briar getting bit?
This is the real reason we're not going to Guardian Con. I'm terrified.
We came really close last time of almost not making
If
it
the
out.
zombie apocalypse happens, it's happening, and it's starting in Florida. Let's be real.
Starting.
It already sort of. So.
Mhm.
All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. If you want to find more of me, I am at Holton_YT, where you can find me.
Yes.
On the internet.
On the
On the things.
On Twitter at
Oh, okay.
Holton_YT. Second, there you go. Promotion.
Cool.
I'm Briar Rabbit. You can find me on Twitter at the Briar Rabbit. And I've also been playing a lot of Anthem lately, so come and watch the streams of that. I think next week we'll be switching back over to Destiny to play the Season of the Drifter. And I'm really looking forward to getting into
Division.
that game, Metro.
Sekiro.
Exodus.
Devil May Cry 5.
Exodus.
Exodus.
Jump Force. It's Jump Force. Briar's going to be playing the new Jump Force.
He's
Trump
been
Force.
talking about Crackdown 3 constantly. He cannot wait to play all of it. He's going to 100%
I do
Crackdown 3.
technically own it. It's a Game Pass game.
I'm Tefty Teft. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter. Twitch.tv/TeftyTeft for my streams. I'm in the same boat, playing a lot of stuff. Excited to play Season of the Drifter, seeing what it's all about, but also excited about all the stuff and games and updates and things that are coming over the next couple months. Yeah.
And I am Miss 5000 Watts. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Just look for Miss 5000 Watts. I'm going to be starting Metro on Friday, I think, probably. A lot of Destiny, Anthem, Apex, Sekiro. It's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna
What's
be
the
lit.
second release date?
22nd.
March 22nd.
Jay.
All right, and I am OneActual. You can find me at twitch.tv/OneActual. Twitter also at OneActual. I'm playing Destiny. I really love this game. Really want to see what's going on the 5th. I am excited for the Gambit, so I'm going to be hitting that super hard. And I just can't wait for the Division to come out, because after that transition they made in the Division 1 from the game it was to what it is like now towards the end, I believe the Division 2 is going to knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah, and
Excited.
their whole year of content, too, looks really good that they showed in that video.
Yeah.
It does look really
Mhm.
good.
And this has been Pope Bear. You can find me on the Twitters at Pope Bear. Make sure to follow the podcast at DCP_live. If you're listening to this on iTunes, make sure to rate us on YouTube. Leave a comment down below about who you think survive a zombie apocalypse. If you on the podcast who would survive. We have a great lineup of guests for next month. We're going to be you're going to hear it first. We'll be announcing it on Monday, but Ebontis, Chadlantis, Liz Shifty is on, and GSXR Clyde is going to be, and that's going to be for next month of March. And we've got a lot of fun stuff.
Joe Rogan had David Lee Roth on his podcast. Can we have David Lee Roth on our podcast?
Joe Rogan seems to like pull a little more clout, Briar. I don't know.
Can we get Joe Rogan on our podcast?
I really like Van Halen, though.
How about Joe Rogan comes on the podcast so he can then bring David Lee Roth with him? What do you think?
All right.
And then we can go on the podcast, their podcast.
I'm working on it, guys. We have a brand new merch store. It's dcplivemerch.com. We have got a Ink the Stink t-shirt up for
That's
sale.
right. You can wear Pope's ass on your t-shirt.
You can wear my ass on your t-shirt. Yeah. And we're getting some sunglasses and some other stuff that's going to be coming up there. So check that out. We really appreciate all the patrons who support us and those members that are following us and supporting us on Twitch. You guys make this absolutely possible every week. So thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Cool.
Bye.
Gonna roll credits and be back for sub readouts.
Weekends.
Okay, we're back.
Mama Shark. Mama Shark.
Let's see. Man, 3 hours. It was a long podcast, guys.
That was a big boy.
All right.
It's a big boy.
Subs, we got Tinix. Welcome back. Darth Ridonis, 12 months. Uno. Year poggers. Indeed, man. That is some pog champ right there. LSU Jake with 8 months says, love you guys and girl. Way to go. Pope with Inkin of the Stinkin'. I think so, man. I'm proud of you, Pope.
Thank you.
Very proud of you, man.
Someone's got to hold up the, our end of the bargain.
Hold up the rear. Rear end.
Someone's got to hold up the rear.
Let's see. Leskachek, 12 months. Resef, 8604 with 12 months. Happy sub day. The Master Phoenix, 87 with 12 months. 1 year with the coolest, baddest podcast on Twitch. Thank you very much, Phoenix. Lazy Pigeon.
Thank you.
12 months says 1 year since you exercised that filthy warlock-filled channel. Congrats. Oh, my God. Listen, guys. You guys want to give me crap about warlock stuff. And you know what? Fine. It's okay. You can do it. But I remember every single one who says I was a warlock. I remember all of you guys for a future date. Okay. Salty Grinder, 11 months. Escape the Plague with the new sub. Flip the Giant with 9 months. Sub Baby, not going to lie, it's Popes. I can explain. Did it involve tattoos? Probably Flip, huh? Brown Guy McGee, 12 months. Sparty for You with 12 months. Phil Dog with 10 months. Sneaker Freaker with 8 months. 12 months, my bad. TCP Repentless with 12 months says, so excited to have OneActual on the podcast. One of the funniest streamers on Twitch. I agree, man. Erod also 11 months. Leaf Shino with 11 months. Chaos Youngin 77 with 8 months. The one before the baby sub, yes indeed. Cutlass 1968 with 5 months. Gundam Rose with 11 months. Donald Trumpez with 12 months. Joker with 11 months. T-Rex hit us with a raid, which is very kind. Thank you, T-Rex. Space Jumpin' with 12 months is new badge hype. Whopper with the sub, welcome. Sir Red Beard with 11 months. Owen Wilson voice, wow. 11 months, wow. Mr. Goodbites, 12 months, says, can't believe it's been a year. Anonymous hooking up Kuj, making it 3 months. Viking Blood with a new sub. Mr. Goodbites hooking up OneActual as well with a sub. I Have Toes with 12 months. Vega, also 12 months. Ellen Ecke with 12 months. Oh, wow, 12 months already. And Abontis with the sub. And Crystal Rooster with 2 months. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Very, very kind.
They want to see the... They want to see it.
The tattoo?
I mean, you can just turn around and show everybody, Pope.
I'm not going to do that.
Good.
Can I put it up on
Shut
screen?
that dream down.
Not the which one would you show?
The full cheek. No, I know. Hold on. I have to cut the screen again. 1 second. If we're going to show the tattoo, give me 1 second, guys. I have to cut the screen back to end credits. So this might be confusing. They cannot hear you at the moment. They can hear me, though, while I look for this. Don't panic. Don't panic, Chad. Oh, you did? You put it in the chat? Okay. There. Boom. You guys can now see it on the screen.
Oh, man.
It's not as big. I could make it bigger. Oh, well. Woo. My production is all messed up right there. Jesus.
It's pretty good. You can see it.
Oh, who are we rating? Were you guys not looking?
No, I was not. I can't. My computer will die.
We're rating Pope's butt.
That. Butt Raiders. You guys pick.
Okay.
Jay, who you got on the Twitch directory right now that you want to send our peeps to?
Oof. I say, I'm looking just now. I say we make somebody's day though. Let's throw somebody, who's like, who's grinding, growing streamer,
Yes.
Yeah, I like it. That's what we do around here.
Perfect.
Yes, regular. You just looked at my ass.
There's a certain number of people that just saw Pope's ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm not even ashamed about it.
Are we about to get banned?
No, it's you can't even tell.
Well,
There's another picture you guys haven't seen.
yeah.
That might get us banned.
Yeah.
That one would.
All you gotta
$1,000 a month on Patreon.
Go big
It's all
boy.
yours.
Big boy on the Patreon. We'll DM you the picture. We got you.
You can print it.
No, you
You
can't.
guys waiting for me to pick?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right. Rate this fine gentleman right here.
All right.
Put the link in the chat.
Perfect. Pope, you doing /raid?
I'm doing it.
I was here to see Pope's ass.
Got it. Wait, that's not the right one.
That's Pope's butt.
Okay.
You've
Do
now
I
seen
just
it.
start it like that?
Oh, it worked.
Yeah.
There it is, Pope. Nice.
Look at that.
Yep, that's
Awesome.
it.
All right.
Perfect.
We'll see you guys next week. Thanks again for hanging out. It was an awesome show. It was also a really long one this time around.
Very long.
Normally we go 2 hours or 2 hours and some change. We decided to go over 3 hours. So how about that? GG's, everyone. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
GG's.